right. It is Tuesday night. You already know what time it is. Time for the big three. I'm joined by the fellas, Jordan and Dylan. What's going on? How you guys doing?
What's up? What's up? It's another week, another podcast. What's going on, everybody?
Doing good. I'm doing good. Just like the famous saying, another day, another dollar, man. So we back in
Yes, sir.
business.
Yes, sir.
We back like DJ Khaled. Another one.
Uh, I mean, sports world blowing up again. So much going on. We're gonna try to fit it all into our nice little window here. I mean, we had a nice conversation in the group chat today, which we'll definitely bring onto the show.
Yep.
It's entertaining. I'm sure.
I'm gonna be honest.
Like,
I know it was Tuesday. I totally forgot like the podcast tonight because like when Dylan was like, or when you were like, I'll go send a link over. I was like, oh crap, I gotta get ready. But I forgot my show was Monday yesterday, so it kind of like threw me off. But
yeah,
hey man, I'm glad I made it in time, man.
Hey, that's what matters.
No, then I was gonna hop on Xbox. Like I totally forgot. That's how bad I forgot about the show.
That's what I was doing before this. If that tells you anything.
But yep. We back with another episode. What's going on, fellas and followers of the show?
Yeah, it's all good.
We need to figure out what episode this is. Like, we need to get like a counter.
That's a good question. I don't know.
I think this one is number 15.
It hasn't been a full year yet, but it's been a lot of episodes.
I think it's 15.
15?
I think so.
So we got to keep track.
I thought it was 18. But...
So would it be 15 tonight, or would it be 14?
Yeah, this one's 15.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. I think we basically started like the first week of the NFL season almost, I think.
Yeah, roughly around there. Yeah, I think it was super close.
And
I think it was actually like there or like by preseason time. I think we had a little bit of preseason because I think we were like, oh, no football preseason, but
yeah. But
what up, Coach Dante?
Yeah, the NFL season and our show kind of started around the same. Yeah, what's going on, Dante? What's up?
What's up, Dante?
Yeah, so it's been a little bit of a number, 15, not bad. But got plenty more to go. So I think we'll start tonight's episode with MLB. Winter meetings are done. We've seen some crazy signings, crazy money being thrown around. And simple question to you guys is, who do you think are winners? It could be players, could be teams. And which teams do you think are losers at this point? Free agency isn't over yet, so it's still time for stuff to be done, but let's start with winners. We'll talk about winners first and then go into losers. So, you want to throw out a player or a team? Go ahead.
I think the obvious ones here are like the winners: Yankees, losers, Giants. I mean, Aaron Judge re-signing. Back to the Giants. Well, not Giants to the Yankees is obviously a pretty big thing. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of been like the Giants, like kind of identity this free agency this offseason was get Aaron Judge, and they lost out on the sweepstakes, so that kind of makes them a big loser. They kind of put all their eggs in that basket. And who did they sign after they didn't get Judge? I don't know, but I mean they've made a signing since then. I can probably look at it.
I'll try to think.
But when you look at it, the Yankees are definitely the big winners. They were obviously Aaron Judge was obviously their big franchise piece. A lot of talks of losing him. I think there's probably a little bit of a scare, with him maybe going back, especially with having family in that San Francisco area and just like San Francisco just being able to offer him as much money as anyone else probably could. But Aaron Judge said it best himself. He's all about legacy. He was probably not so much all about money in that sense. He probably looked at New York and was like, I could probably have a way better career and way better just like legacy overall playing here than I would probably for the Giants, because there's no telling what they're going to do here. And at least with the Yankees, we were the second overall seed, super close to making it to the World Series. Run it back, see how it does. They all re-signed a bunch of players as well too. It just makes sense for them.
Yeah. Well, the Giants signed Mitch Haniger. That's who it was.
I have no idea who that is. Well, now I think he's.
Oh, I thought they signed Haniger and then someone else.
Well, I think
Yeah, I think
Haniger's probably the bigger name.
I think
they signed another.
didn't they sign Haniger before the Judge decision? Because I know
Yeah.
Haniger was trying to pull Judge into the. I think he said some cryptic post was like, "Oh, hey, I'm here," whatever. I think so. I think he signed before Judge made his decision, like the day or the night of. I could be wrong though, but
you might be right because it looks like Haniger signed on the 6th.
Yeah.
Okay.
But just to answer your question, I mean, I think yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah,
I was
go
gonna
ahead.
say that. I was gonna say that. Obviously, the Yankees were the winner, and also just because it's crazy how it went down though. Like he flew out to the winter meeting in San Diego. We all know the John Heyman tweet, the false alarm tweet where he was like, "Oh, Aaron Judge signs the Giants. Giants never heard back from Judge." John Heyman went back to Twitter was like, "Oh, my bad, he didn't sign there yet." And then there was talk that Aaron Judge didn't like how Cashman and the organization didn't like the way they leaked the contract, so maybe I was leaning towards him signing somewhere else because of that. Because obviously, if you're like a top player, you don't want it unless it's confirmed by Aaron or his agent. You don't want that money to be leaked out just like that. It's not official. I think it was $230 million around that time before the season started. So, but yeah, the big winner was probably was definitely the Yankees. Like Dylan said, it was all about legacy. Obviously signed 9-year, $360 million contract. Also, another winner will be the Phillies. They signed Trey Turner to a 11-year deal, $300 million. They give them a speed, another speedster. Bryce Harper and Trey Turner team up again, like they did in DC. So I know Key and I'm not sure if Gene is a Phillies fan. I'm sure he is. I mean, I know they're happy about that. But the big winner is definitely Aaron Judge, because Aaron Judge is he definitely earned that contract. He definitely earned the right to work the free agency, So I definitely think the Yankees are the top winners of this free agency, and plus they might get Rodon. So I mean, that's another big piece that the Giants could be losing. So
yeah, I agree. I think shortstops in general will come out as big winners in all of this because the money that Turner got, Bogarts got. I mean, I think that's gonna really affect now Swanson, Correa. I feel like there's another one out there. Swanson, Correa. Isn't there another shortstop that's out there?
Probably Swanson, Correa.
Well, I mean, those two are probably the next ones to get signed.
I have a big list of it ready.
Okay. Well, I'll say the shortstop market definitely winners in all this. Interested to see where Correa and Swanson go. Whether Swanson goes back to the Braves, I don't know. If he doesn't, do both guys kind of head out west to the Dodgers and maybe the Giants? Maybe they make another splash with one of those guys, or I don't know. Losers, I got to look at.
No, it's just Swanson and Correa. That's all that's left because Turner and Bogart signed.
Okay, I thought there was 5 of them for some reason. Okay, so
Bogart.
So Correa.
I'll keep looking.
That's all right, but Correa and Swanson will definitely benefit from those 2 contracts. I think a loser in this could be. I mean, the Red Sox don't look that great after Bogarts moves on. Although before that, I feel like the Red Sox are having a pretty decent offseason, bringing in a lot of bullpen arms, which they needed. But the Bogarts one's going to hurt not only not even this offseason, but going into the season. A lot of fans have been really outspoken about that move. So, I mean, we'll have to see what the Red Sox look like, because obviously winning can cure all of that. But if they start losing early in the season, yeah, it's gonna get rough in Boston.
Yeah, I think it really matters too if they re-sign Devers or not. If they could get Devers re-signed pretty early on into the season, that would give a lot of fans a lot of ease. Mm-hmm. Instead, every game matters, especially when you're star players in this contract year, because if you go on a big losing streak, that really doesn't make players want to re-sign there, especially going into their contract year, because they're like, oh, I can get a lot of money just elsewhere on a better team. So I think if they can get him re-signed early, especially early on into the season, it's going to make him feel really confident. But we'll see. Yeah, of course, winning cures everything. If they go on like a decent run, which is always possible, teams can just pull it together out of nowhere with rosters that they have. So if they start winning, maybe that will make his confidence high. When you start winning in a place you're already comfortable in, you're like, why should I leave?
Right. Yeah. And I mean, there's still plenty of free agents out there, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
All the money that was thrown around, and there's still more that needs to be thrown around because, like Jordan said, Rodon is still out there. Um, Plenty of teams have still plenty of, especially my Red Sox, have to fill in second base, shortstop. Still need an outfield guy. Oh, they got that Japanese guy who kind of interesting. 5'8" corner outfielder. So I guess maybe fans can rally around him. Then again, if he struggles, I think they're gonna like correlate him to Bogarts, which might not be fair, but that's kind of how it is right now.
Yeah, I haven't seen Boston make like any moves yet.
No, they have. They've
Oh yeah, well, other than that Japanese player, right, or like that
they had
Korean.
a Japanese guy. They got Kenley Jansen.
Oh yeah, Kenley
They
Jansen.
signed Jolie Rodriguez. They signed like 3 bullpen arms, which was a big need for them. I think they still need a starting pitcher. I'd like to see them sign top of the rotation type of guy. That way you can kind of slide Sale into maybe your 2 slot if he's
Chris
healthy.
Sale, man, he got some issues
Well,
for his own self, but that's his barring. If you can get that
Yeah.
stuff straightened out. But he was, having temper tantrums and injury prone, and he hasn't really been himself.
I mean, the temper thing, I'm fine with that. But
Because people
the
used
issue
to be
is-
like, teams used to be scared of Chris Sale, like in it, like post or prior to like his injuries and his temper
Mm-hmm.
tantrums. But he used to be like one of those players, like a prime villain, or like used to be like they really like a player you need to watch out for. But I don't see teams like being intimidated by Chris Sale like now. Like, but maybe he can get his stuff together this season. But now I have a question, Kyle. Like, do you think that Boston do you think they have enough like right now to like? I know it's not over yet. Free agency is not over yet.
Mhm.
But do you think they have enough pieces to like compete with the Yankees or like Blue Jays next year? Or like, do you need to have like one more hitter, another batter?
I mean, looking at their lineup, at least what I think their lineup would look like, I think they need to upgrade first base. Could be a need. They have the young guy, what's his name, Casas, who's going to play first most likely. They still have Hosmer on the roster, although I feel like Hosmer might end up getting dealt at some point. If they're going to move Trevor Story over to short, they're going to need a second baseman. If they leave Story at second,
did they resign Devers or did they have Devers, right? But
yeah, they
that's
still
just,
have him. His contract will be up next year, I believe.
Gotcha.
And he's got third base locked down, but like Dylan said, like to see them extend him before the season starts. Outfield, I think they still could use an outfield guy and a starting pitcher. Got to get one. The bullpen, I'm actually fine with. I think the Red Sox did a good job fixing the bullpen this offseason. But starting pitcher, need one. At least one. Because they're going to make Whitlock a starter, which I like. But besides him, a lot of questions in that rotation. So, can they compete today? Probably not. I think they'd be behind the Yankees. They'd be behind Toronto, the Rays. I mean, it might be another season like this past year where they're kind of there, bottom of the AL East with the Orioles. So it might be tough, but Chaim Bloom did come out today and kind of say that he understands why fans are upset with him because he would be upset as well. And he kind of gave like a timeline of the whole Bogarts negotiations and how it all went away. Like he just said, basically they weren't going to go 11 years, 280. I think they were willing to go like 6 and 160, that kind of area. So once negotiations blew past that, the Red Sox weren't even really in the negotiations because I've also heard there was like 4 teams that had better offers than the Red Sox. So, I mean, Bogarts was ultimately just going to leave at that point. I think 11 years might be crazy. So we'll have to see with San Diego. I mean, this could either blow up in their face with all the high price guys that they have on the roster, or maybe they look like geniuses signing 4 shortstops to play wherever. It's crazy. But, I mean, we'll see. Baseball season isn't that far away.
It's like
spring training starts in February.
February, yeah, and then April is like my season starts. No, I think it's March, like late March, early April.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. It's not around not that far. It seems far away because we're at Christmas, but like, yeah, it's right around the corner. The teams are probably gonna be reporting soon. Like,
well, it's gonna be interesting.
But I don't know. Like, obviously, like the answer to your question though, like, I mean, obviously the real winners are the Yankees, Phillies, I think. But I think it's too early to say a loser because Carrera's still on the market. Teams are trying to bid for him. So I would say, I mean, it was going on in Gene. I mean, I would say definitely like it's definitely not too early. I think it's too early to say who a loser is for a team because obviously free agency is not over yet. Because teams can still make moves, but teams gotta hurry up, because the players are not gonna be on the market just forever, So, and like we all said as a whole, like I mean, once Aaron Judge, the Trey Turners of the world, the Verlanders, like the top players, like once they're off the market, players are gonna start falling off the market. So, I would say the teams are kind of in trouble, like the kind of the bottom of the barrel teams, like like the Reds announcing them making any moves, like the Giants.
I feel like teams like that.
I mean,
teams like that, Reds, Royals, stuff like that. They kind of depend on homegrown talent developing and all that to really, because free agents don't really go to places like that necessarily.
Well, didn't they have that that dude Aquino? He's nice.
Oh, the Reds?
Yeah, he had those like nonstop home runs like a couple years ago, like back-to-back home run games. Like,
I know
he was nice, but that's the only like kind of piece they had. I don't know if he's still on the team though. I'm not sure if he's a free agent or not. But.
Yeah, I mean, with baseball, you have your group of teams that are the haves. Yankees, Mets, even because they can throw around a lot of money. Dodgers, Giants, Padres, and then you have a lot of teams where, they look up to the Rays because the Rays seem to contend all the time on like a really tiny payroll. But the problem with the Rays is they're constantly having to turn over guys because certain guys become too pricey, go elsewhere. So for them, their farm system is more important than anything. There's kind of a big collection of teams that are in that same boat where you kind of have to hit on all your picks. The prospects have to develop quickly, and you get like a tiny window to maybe be good with them. If not, you're starting over like every 5 years or something. But that's the world of baseball, and no cap or nothing like that. So I don't know. I mean, you guys got anything else about baseball before we move on to the next thing?
Hey, Dylan, who is that? Hurts on your shirt? Who's on your shirt? Is it Jalen Hurts?
Yeah, it's Jalen.
Oh, I was trying to figure out something like a WWE star.
The eye black kind of get away from me.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I mean, Gene. I mean, I said Yankees and Phillies are the winners, man, so far. With Trey Turner, like a very good asset to have. I mean, I thought, obviously Yankees they're in the bid for every player. Like Trey Turner was in the mix, but he goes to a team where they need him. I mean, he's like I said, he's back with Bryce Harper, that duo. So yeah, I mean, Philly fans should be really happy about that. 11 years, like $30 million. I mean, yeah. I mean, they locked him in for a long term, so.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but I think Judge is a bigger piece than Trey Turner, though. He's more, he's a bigger player than Trey Turner. But obviously, Trey Turner he's still a good player. I'm not hating on him. Big difference, huh? I mean, yeah, we resigned him. Yeah, we did. But yeah, you added him. But I still think Judge is us resigning Judge. Like, if we didn't sign Judge, we'd be in a rebuild. You know what I'm saying? Not a rebuild, but like find someone to
It's
fit that
probably a
position.
rebuild.
So, I mean, yeah, we had Judge, but he was a free agent, so we really didn't have him. I mean, yeah, we had him, but like, he was out there. But yeah, I mean, I feel like most valuable it would be Aaron Judge than Trey Turner. But
Judge MVP. Of
Yeah.
course, you needed him back.
yeah, I mean, I think both teams won the trade market right now. I mean, not trade market, but free agency. I mean, I think both teams are respectable to for both winners. But obviously, I think we needed Judge more than anyone. So
I kind of
Yeah.
think, well, the way I'm reading it, I guess Gene is saying with Phillies adding Trey,
yeah,
he
that's
probably
kind
thinks
of
that
yeah.
I think he thinks they're in a better situation than the Yankees, who so far all they've done is re-sign Judge, and we know the Yankees have other positions to fill. I mean, you
Right.
talked about before with one like Donaldson, Hicks, guys like that gone. You're gonna
Yeah,
need somebody to
third
replace those
face.
guys. Yeah,
I mean, we can replace them, but we have. I mean, if DJ, because Donaldson he plays third base, so I think LeMahieu will fill that spot. Third base. Have
I
Oswaldo
got you, Gene.
Cabrera. Yeah,
So
I mean,
that
no,
was the point he was trying to make. Yeah.
I definitely get what Gene's saying. Like, I mean, I get it. We signed Judge, and they added a player. I get that.
Mhm. Yeah.
But I feel like we kind of won the trade because or not the trade. I keep on saying trade. We won the free agency because of Judge. But I feel like both teams kind of won at the same time because obviously, did Phillies need Trey Turner? Was there another player on the market, other than at the time for Phillies? Possibly, but he brings that speed to them. So when he gets on base, so he's probably one of the fastest players in the MLB, like stat wise, on base percentage. So when he steals, so he's definitely up there in speed and stuff. So definitely want to bring the power bat into the speed. I would say we need to get
Here's a question for you though.
Andrew Benintendi
So,
back. Oh, go ahead.
Let's say this free agency period for the next month or so,
Yeah, definitely
the
get
Yankees
saying
don't
Gene,
make
yep.
the Yankees don't make any other moves. How would you feel about their free agency if Judge is the only thing they did so far?
Like
in the next month or so, like I'm saying, if Judge is still the only move they've made, how would you feel?
I mean, knowing that that's like a hypothetical question because I know they're gonna make more moves. But I mean, if they didn't make moves, I mean, did we resign Stan back or I'm not sure if he's added back on there. I'm not sure. Giancarlo. I don't know if he still has him or he's under contract or.
I feel like he's under contract.
You
I've
never
heard
heard
nothing about
something.
him as a free agent. So.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
imagine you would have heard
I just want to make
something.
sure. I just wanted to confirm. But I mean, we resigned Rizzo. He was like our first baseman. We got Torres.
Okay.
We got. I know. See, that's my DoorDash guy. But but yeah. Yeah. I'll be right back, fellas.
Yeah. We'll be here. Oh, I'll ask you, Dylan. In terms of the Blue Jays, I don't think they've done much
Send
so
Chris
far.
Bassett.
That's right. That was the other day, which I like that move. I think Bassett's a pretty good pitcher.
Yep, 3 years, $63 million.
That's not bad. So what would you like to see the Blue Jays do next?
I'm
pretty sure you're probably not happy right now, just Bassett.
No, I mean, we also signed Kevin Kiermaier. I'm not sure 100% how good he is. I haven't really heard much of him until we really signed him. The name was a little bit familiar, but not noticeable. Yeah, the Bassett signing was really good. We definitely need a lot more pitching depth. We were the worst team when it came to pitching in the postseason. So it's not something you can really just go into next season without looking at. So definitely getting some more pitching is really good. Glad it was one of our bigger free agent signings too. Definitely it's something that was a massive need. Again, I'm not sure. We got an outfield hitter in Kiermaier. I'm not sure again how good he is. You might give me a little depth on him if you know anything about him.
I mean, I know Kiermaier is a really good center fielder. I mean, he covers a lot of ground, and I mean, he can hit a little. He's not like Guerrero or
Yeah.
guys like that, but I think he's a good, probably like top of the lineup type of guy. Get him on base, and give some RBI opportunities to like the meat of the order. Uh, I mean, is it a big splash? Could be, because like I said, Toronto has a really big outfield, and at least with Kiermaier in center, he can cover a lot of ground. So that in itself could be really valuable. Kind of like the Jackie Bradley Jr. effect that he had in. Let's see. He's mid. He's like your local guy, sweet. He's not Hollywood. Yeah. Kind of like I was saying. I mean, defensively, that's where he'll probably have his most value. Like I said, with Jackie Bradley Jr. He was a streaky hitter, not really that good of a hitter, but defensively, that's where all of his value was. He would make a great play every so often, and you'd be like, "Oh yeah, he can do that."
Yeah, him.
So, I think Kiermaier is kind of like that. So, however that shapes what you think about him, maybe.
We'll see. I guess this season will kind of just be my, like book to see on how he is. I can make my notes then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the Bassett signing. No, that's a good signing. Just probably just a little more pitching depth. Definitely boost up that rotation. One signing still isn't super great. Maybe bulk up our bullpen a little bit more.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of teams need bullpen help because I think bullpens are becoming more and more important, of course, with starters not really going that deep into games anymore. You get 5-6 innings out of a starter, and you're like, I mean, we've made it. So I think a lot of teams will be looking at bullpens. I'm trying to think of what else. That's why I said with the Red Sox kind of focusing on the bullpen early. I like that part. The Bogarts thing still rough to get over, but Phillies need more bullpen help too. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's a bunch of teams around the league that need bullpen, and appreciate that, Gene. So, I guess looking at your Blue Jays right now, like, how confident are you in terms of the AL East, like today?
Well,
where do you think they fit in the hierarchy?
Let me see this. I'll look at last year's standings just for comparison. So we finished 92 and 70. Let me look at the overall league standings. That makes it a little easier on me. Okay, so we finished about 4th in the American League overall. It's going to be tough because when you look at the teams, if we just compare it on the American League standings, the Astros, the reigning World Series champs, they added a lot of offseason help. We're going to see the Yankees added Aaron Judge. Well, not added, but re-signed Aaron Judge, pending what else they're going to do. The Yankees are always going to be one of those teams that are going to be really good, especially with getting back a centerpiece like Judge. He's in his prime right now. Hopefully, all he's going to do is go up. You look at teams like the Guardians, the Mariners, the Orioles, the Rays, like a lot of those younger-ish teams, that are kind of built up from like the draft and different things like that. They also had a huge advantage nobody talks about. But you look at all those other teams like the Mariners, the Guardians, the Rays, Orioles, a lot of those younger teams as well that are going to only progressively get better, since a lot of those teams are also just like fairly younger as well too. So they're going to get better over time. They're going to get better chemistry wise, different things along those sorts. So I think we're going to be along one of those probably 3, 4, 5 seeds again, especially if we get a little more bullpen depth. My biggest issue with the Blue Jays, like I've said before, is we're not really a consistent team. Like, we can get on like streaks where we'll go absolutely crazy. Like, our bats are going crazy, our pitching's doing really good, and then like we're going on streaks where we're losing 5, 6 games in a row, where we're losing series against teams we probably should be beating, and that's like their biggest issue, is they're not really a consistent team. So definitely And outside of that, outside of the regular season time, of course, like I said multiple times during the playoff times, we choked. Definitely in the pitching aspect when it came down to it. So we'll see. I still think a fourth overall, like in the American League's probably a good area because the Blue Jays are still kind of a fairly young team themselves. A lot of their talent is like homegrown practically. So we'll see. I think fourth's about pretty well for them.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Yeah, I think we can kind of switch to the NBA right now. Well, I guess I'll just say, like I said, Red Sox have many more moves to make for me. But I feel like if they kind of went to the season with the current team, they'd probably be fighting for fourth. Oh, yeah, Gene. Yeah. I was going to come back to that. Where was it? So he said the huge advantage that Toronto had was the vaccination rules, which affected a lot of teams going up there, which I'm assuming probably wouldn't be in effect this season. And Gregory Barbie. Yeah, we got you, Gregory. We're about to move on to the NBA.
That is your dad. I thought that was a random guy, but
he thinks baseball's boring.
Yeah. No, because I remember that name from I think a couple episodes ago, and I mean, don't get me wrong. If people say that about baseball, I totally get it. I feel like there are ways baseball could make it more exciting, but it's just that, yeah, he definitely let it be known. Boring. Well, we're hitting the NBA now, so hopefully, Gregory, you can calm down. Baseball's over. All right, so NBA talk. We have got the Celtics Lakers tonight. Both teams are, kind of going in. The Celtics have hit a little bit of a slide right now with the back-to-back losses to the Warriors and Clippers, which I got to talk about the Clippers in a second here. The Lakers, we know they've had kind of better run of play recently, and I think it's going to be an interesting game tonight to see, one, what does Anthony Davis do? Because we know that the Celtics aren't the biggest team, but they have a lot of guys who are kind of big bodies down low with Williams, Blake Griffin, and all that. So how does that affect Anthony Davis? We'll have to see with the Celtics defense. Will the Lakers shooting issues become a major problem tonight? We'll have to see. And, what do Tatum and Brown do against the Lakers? Do they go off? But because the Celtics can still shoot it, although they struggled against the Clippers last night. But honestly, interesting little dynamic there. But before we break down and go into Am I Tripping, just going to talk about Celtics Lakers real quick. So Jordan, as the Laker fan on here, what are you expecting to see tonight?
So you did mention Robert Williams. Is he playing tonight, or is he still hurt?
He's practicing, so he's getting his conditioning back. He'll probably be back. Today's the 13th. I'd say next week. It was more
next
like
week. Okay, well, just the fact. I mean, I know Al Horford is still a big body. Wait, is he hurt too, or is he playing?
Horford will probably play tonight because I don't think he played last night against the Clippers.
All right. I mean, this is an opportunity for AD to go off. I would say if Robert Williams was playing, then it'll kind of be a little bit tougher because Robert Williams is still, he's a rebound getter. But I still see AD, maybe getting 25, 30 points tonight. Maybe like 10 boards. LeBron's gonna do his thing. It's gonna be a good one because I know you're a Celtics fan. I'm a Lakers fan. Fraser's a Lakers fan. It's gonna be a good one. But the only edge I would give to the Celtics is they do have better shooting with Tatum and Brown. So they are, I guess, the more elite shooters on the court other than the Lakers. I mean, they have they have AR-15 and Austin Reeves. But yeah, I definitely see the Lakers, if AD can have a good game and not get in foul trouble in the first quarter, then I can see the Lakers, having a chance. Because
do people actually refer to Reeves as AR-15?
I think that was his
Purdue?
nickname.
I hear
Yeah.
Hillbilly Kobe as well too.
They
Since
call
he's
him
from
what?
Oklahoma. Hillbilly Kobe. Since he's from Oklahoma.
Okay. I didn't know if he had arrived enough to get a nickname, but I mean, hey,
He's on the
AR-15,
Lakers. When you
it's-
play with LeBron, like if you have a good game, like people are gonna know who you are. You'll get a name.
okay.
It's just because
Well, I
he
guess
he plays with LeBron. Like if he played on like the Spurs or played on like any other team that didn't really have a big star, it wouldn't really matter that much. But since it's the LeBron effect, he's on the Lakers.
Well, I guess for you, Dylan, since you're not a Laker or Celtics fan, what do you see going on in the game tonight?
You did bring a good point up with Anthony Davis's size. That's going to probably be a little bit different for Boston. Yeah, Anthony Davis has kind of been a struggle for a lot of teams. Definitely his size is going to it's going to definitely work for advantage for him. He's definitely, I think, going to have a good game. But the one thing the Celtics have is definitely that speed and a lot more shooting. Celtics are good. They're a dominant team. Like you said, they're kind of on the 2-game losing streak, which is not really normal of them, but they're still 7-3 out of their last 10, which is still pretty impressive. And even with losing their last 2 games, they still are first in the East, which is still fairly impressive. Only a game ahead of first, so it's not as comfortable a lead as they used to have anymore. But yeah, I think definitely it's going to depend on how well both Tatum and Brown can do, because like we said, like Davis is going to have a good game. It depends on how they're going to do with covering Davis. You know, if they can keep him slowed down, this is probably going to be a good game for the Celtics. I feel like Davis is going to be a key piece for the Lakers, because you definitely are going to have people like Brown and Tatum covering LeBron most of the night, maybe even like Marcus Smart, who you never know. You never know what they're going to throw at him, but like they're going to try to be aggressive with him as much as they can, because Davis is going to probably, I wouldn't say have his way with your guys' defense, but he's definitely going to have an easier time with no Robert Williams out there, for sure. Definitely against Al Horford. So, yeah, I would definitely have to see how you guys play against Anthony Davis and how well you cover outside of Anthony Davis, because if you let other players like have a good game, like if you let like Austin Reeves or one of their bench players have a good 20-point night or a good 25-point night, that could also be really killer, because LeBron's going to get his numbers regardless. Anthony Davis is going to get whatever he's going to get, and if you let a couple other players have some good shots, that's going to be a little bit different for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a good game, for sure. It's not going to be a boring game. So, it's just that, like, I think Dylan's dad is hits on the nail. Tatum can get 31. I mean, that would be great. Even Brown maybe had 25, 20 points here. So, it just the answer is how do they stop AD with no pure big men down there? So, this is AD's
I mean,
night.
they have good good interior defenders. Like I said, between Horford,
Cornette or whatever his name is, or
Grant Williams is really good against
really?
bigger players because he's a bigger body, and they're gonna throw Blake Griffin at him. Cornette, I don't see Cornette playing a lot of minutes when Davis is out there. I think Cornette's going to be more of a bench unit type of guy, because I don't know if they want to expose Cornette to Anthony Davis. But we'll see.
Cornette's too slow.
Yeah, he is. But, I mean, he can spread the floor a little bit. So if they do want to run him out there, I just worry about defensively what AD could do to a guy like Cornette. But
yeah, like I said, if AD can stay out of foul trouble in the first quarter, I mean, I don't know, because I didn't really catch the first quarter of that game, because I don't know what kind of fouls he had, but I mean, obviously he has to stay out of foul trouble in order to stay in the game long. So, but then again, LeBron's still on the court, so who's going to stop LeBron if all the focus is on AD? So that's another question. Because I mean, LeBron's still going to do LeBron things: dunk the ball, shoot the ball, pass it to open teammates. Russell Westbrook has had a good year so far off the bench. That too, having 9 assists. He's still a dish artist, an assist artist. So, I think that second unit with Russell Westbrook is really good. With him, I think we all know on this panel that I think Russell plays better with AD than Russ plays with LeBron. Because Russ can.
That was known when they made the deal for him.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some plays where all three of them play well certain plays, but obviously, LeBron and West are both ball dominant. But I've seen a couple plays where they pass the ball along and stuff. So,
Russ
it's
just
going
needs
to be
the ball in his hand and then someone to make up for his mistakes.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's why him and Steven Adams work so well.
Yep. Exactly.
You just need someone to go in there, grab the ball, grab his wild passes, just something.
Yeah, if he takes an ill-advised three, need a guy who can battle on the offensive board. But yeah.
Yeah, Westbrook's not the dude you want to find in transition.
Right.
Westbrook's not the dude you want in transition. He's the dude you want. He's the dude you want to find you in transition.
No, he can be effective in transition. It just has to be in a position where if you give it to him, he needs a direct line to the hoop. Yeah, you don't want to give it to him and then have him have to dribble a little bit to try to create something. Because for some reason at times he'll take some random three and you'll just be like, what? Why? And
it's like this.
It's something he's been doing his whole career. And it's just funny to me. I love the fact that Westbrook, he seems like one of those players who doesn't really care a lot about how the crowd may react to him. Yeah, critics and all that. And I appreciate that about him. That's one thing I love about Westbrook. Because there's so many guys in the NBA, they're afraid to mess up because they don't want to hear about it. That's been my biggest thing about Ben Simmons. Is I feel like he doesn't shoot because he's afraid to airball and then be, criticized about it. Yeah. Once again, I agree. Westbrook does need to stay within his game. It's just that he has those moments where he feels like Reggie Miller out there and will just jack one up. So I kind of like that about him. I was going to get into Am I Tripping, but I see Jordan's out. So we can talk about the other news in the NBA. I don't know if you saw this, Dylan, but they renamed the awards.
Oh yeah, they renamed all the awards. Yeah, I saw it this morning. Yes. I read what all of them were, but I don't remember because it was they changed 7 of them. I know the MVP is the Michael Jordan, the Rookie of the Year. Isn't it the Will
Chamberlain?
Yeah, it's the Will. It was nice. I like that. Definitely. There's a lot of talk about legends and stuff in the NBA, and all those names come up and different things, all those sorts. So why not give them credit, homage? Definitely I don't hate it. I like it. I wouldn't even hate if the NFL did something like that.
Yeah. Jordan, we were just talking about the changing of the NBA awards. So are you a fan of it or not? Because I've seen people who hate it. And I've seen people who love it.
I get why. I guess it's probably the player choices is why people probably hate it. It's not going to be they would probably want to think MVP that would be someone else, or they would want this player to have this award, and it just makes them upset because it's when I think MVP, I think this player. That's stupid. They should just keep it as MVP award. Why does it have to be this player? And then of course when it's players people don't or people have hate against the teams, it's things like that most likely. I don't get why else you would hate it. Overall basketball fans don't have any issues with it because why does it matter? It's still the MVP award at the end of the day.
Right. So I can tell you why some of them hate it. One hate the player choices, and some hate the fact that they just named it after kind of legends. They would rather have seen them just named after, I guess, random coaches or something like that.
Why?
Yeah, so,
the coaches don't win the MVP.
I know, but
the Phil Jackson MVP trophy or something
that. Or pioneers in terms of creating the game of basketball or something like that.
He was a famous dude who created basketball.
Dr. Naismith.
Dr. Naismith MVP award, something like that.
Yeah, I guess.
I feel like you should. I feel like you should just give it to the player who has the most of the award.
Did the MVP before it got changed? Was it?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was saying, was the old MVP award named after somebody? Was it the Jerry West MVP award or something like that? Or
I know they named the playoff MVP after players. Yeah. I think the regular season MVP award was just kind of
the MVP award.
MVP,
like K MVP or something.
It was just it's the NBA 6 Man of the Year, the NBA MVP.
Yeah. So I guess you could have gone that route. Just name them after a bunch of sponsors.
Like, so imagine if like
Nah, I don't
Yeah.
like that. I don't. like
imagine if like
sponsor.
just like hypothetically LeBron wins MVP. How awkward would that be to get a Jordan trophy?
Yeah, the Michael. The yeah.
Okay,
I see
I just
that
thought it- I just-
aspect. I see that aspect.
I just thought about
I guess
that.
I guess I see why people don't like it in a sense. I don't like that they sculpted the picture, like the actual trophies after the players. Like I guess winning an MVP and holding up a Michael Jordan statue, well, a trophy is kind of like a little anticlimactic. It'd be nice to hold up just like a normal, just like trophy that says like MVP. You know, kind of let you have your glory.
Right. I
I feel like players might like getting it because
Some will,
a
yeah.
lot of guys got into basketball because of Jordan, so they'll probably be like, oh, "That's kind of cool."
I'm
I
pretty
mean-
classic though. I just like the normal, just random basketball player on the trophy as well. I think that's nice.
Yeah.
But I get it. I'm not really too big of a stickler on it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't hate it. I can see where some people would be upset.
Well, I guess just to let
I mean, I forgot
everybody-
the name is like the Kobe Bryant MVP, like since he like in his honor, but
I mean, I guess they could
The
technically
name, the
name
All-Star
something
game's
else.
really kind of commemorated after him though.
That's true.
that's true. That's true.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's actually other names out there. It's not like the Heisman. Yeah.
I mean, Kyle, like you're the big Jordan fan. Do you agree with him being the name of the MVP award? Do you like that, or does it
Say
bother
give
you?
it to the player that has the most awards, name it after them.
Yeah, it didn't bother me. I saw a lot of people who were like, they should have named it after Kareem because he has more. Fortunately, Kareem already has a trophy named after him, which is the Social Justice Award, which I feel like Kareem has said that he kind of, he appreciated that because it spoke to, him as the player and what
Right.
he did off the court. So I think it would have been messed up to kind of take that from him to put it as the MVP. So putting Jordan on there, I do think it might be a little weird for people, but I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah,
The Jerry
But-
West Trophy, which is the
Mhm.
Clutch Player of the Year,
Yeah, what's
kind
that
of
gonna
want
be
to see
like?
how they
I saw that as
figure
well.
that out. So I guess
Like-
they do like most points within 2
A
minutes.
certain amount of
something like
time.
that.
Like I wish they would have done that though at the start of the season, so we could have kind of had an ideal of like what to expect.
Mhm.
Like if that player is like, I don't know, because don't you get like bonuses and stuff when you win these trophies? I think you
I think
do.
that's more.
I
think maybe
I
the
think you do.
MVP, like
I think
MVP
you
and
do.
All NBA. Yes, you get bonuses for those.
I know
But
you
these
do. I know
others-
you do for like winning like the finals and stuff like that.
Yeah. All right. So looking at the clutch player, all it says is the player who best comes through for his teammates in the clutch. Okay,
Man, I guess like
that's
I
gonna
don't
be
know. Are you gonna mark that by like who hits the most buzzer beaters in a season? Who has the most like points? Like it's gonna be weird how they do that. I think that as long as that's a fan voted award, kind of. I don't know how that's gonna be. That's tough because in a season like people are gonna always argue. Like for example, like Damian Lillard, people are gonna be like, oh, he's a much class player in basketball. Like
Mhm.
if it's fan voted, he'd probably get it every year in a sense, just because he has that namesake.
Right. So it says coaches will nominate players for that one, and then a media panel will vote on the winner.
I don't.
It's too complicated. I mean, it's not complicated, but it's like really like
Not to interrupt, but Warriors getting teed up. In
yeah. I'm watching that right now too.
I mean, Milwaukee is tough. They're kind of built to play like every style. Now,
Curry,
offensively,
he didn't get fouled. Why is he barking at the? He didn't. I mean, he shot the three, but he landed. He fell, but he didn't get like fouled though. I don't know why he's barking at the ref for.
because that's a foul that I don't know.
That's
That's
his
foul.
points.
No, but he didn't even get touched. That's the thing.
Nah,
Yeah, but-
always do. You gotta act a little bit, just
Yeah.
in case you do get it.
Exactly. That's what it is. Because if he argues it now, he may not get this call, but later in the game, if it's close, he may actually get the whistle. That's what most of the players are doing it for. Like, if it's a bad call now, sure they argue it, but the ref's not going to change it. They're just hoping to get one down the line when the game might be on the line. So But yeah, just to go through these other trophies that they renamed, just to let people know. So Michael Jordan MVP, Jerry West is clutch player, Hakeem Olajuwon Defensive Player of the Year. That's another one that people were kind of talking about because they said it should have been named after Ben Wallace or
Mm,
who was the other guy? But I think a lot of people saying
Robinson?
Ben Wallace. I didn't even hear David Robinson. I heard mainly Ben Wallace. They should have named it after. But I'm okay with the Olajuwon being named there.
yeah, I don't mind that either.
I'm a big
Ben Wallace is
Olajuwon
Ben Wallace is kind of one of those names as well too. You know that he was on an era of Pistons team that weren't.
Your dad
really
is coming
Mutombo.
through. Mutombo was the other name. Yes. I knew it was Ben Wallace and
legend.
somebody, yeah. So Mutombo was the guy that a lot of people were throwing out there. Chamberlain, Wilt Chamberlain's for the Rookie of the Year. John Havlicek, Sixth Man of the Year. That one perfectly named because he was Mr. Sixth Man. And George Mikan, Most Improved Player of the Year.
I was hearing people say like they were upset like Julius Erving didn't get named after an award.
Yes, I saw that too. And I was trying to see if he had like another name after it, but Joe Dumars is sportsmanship. Twyman Stokes, best teammate.
Yeah,
right
that's
I
don't know any of the old school players like that. Kind of old school like the
like who? What? Oh, you're talking like Joe Dumars, Red Auerbach, those names?
Yeah,
I know Dumars.
Yeah, Dumars played with Bad Boy Pistons. He was.
Yeah, I know Havlicek as well.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of who Dumars might kind of compare to today. I'll probably have to think about that a little more. But Red Auerbach, he was, the architect of the Celtics' great teams back in the day. Bill Russell and all that.
Well, speaking of Celtics, man, Bill Sellis died, right? Passed away.
Yeah, Paul.
Oh, wait. Paul Silas. Man.
I had to make sure I got the first name. Yeah, it's been a tough couple of years for like ex-Celtics players.
Yeah, Bill Russell,
Bill Russell, Tommy Heinsohn, Silas. I think it was Sam Jones. Yeah, there's been a lot of them recently, and I'm sure they're gonna have to put like another patch for Silas because they already had the one for Heinsohn, Bill Russell. Yeah, but let's see. Oh, there's another award, Maurice Podoloff Trophy for the best regular season team.
Greg said, "Mutombo, no."
He was an interesting player to watch because, like, when you saw him run up and down the court, he looked like he had like concrete for feet. It's like real hard steps, but he sent a lot of people away at the rim.
Yeah,
and those commercials are great too. Yeah, I was just looking at pictures of the trophies. Like, they're interesting looking. I mean, I don't
hate it in a sense because, like, in the league, it's the league,
I feel like it probably makes the awards like more marketable or something. Where,
if you slap the Michael Jordan MVP on that, it sounds a lot better.
Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of people were killing the look of it. I mean, it's not the greatest, but then again, you can't really go with his iconic pose because that's Nike.
Very Bart. Yeah.
So it's like, what else would you use? Could you do like the little free
the
throw
NBA
line?
Would have special privileges for stuff like that, though. It's like, yeah, they did that in like our organization. Get over yourself. It's just it's one trophy.
Yeah. Well, if they had to use that, then had to probably be like Nike's Michael Jordan trophy. Michael Jordan presented by Nike. So, yeah, that just sounds dumb. All right, so let's do Am I Tripping real quick, and then we'll move on to the other stuff. So, am I tripping if I say that the whole thing with Phoenix, Pelicans, and all that, foolishness that went on, I think it's alarming that Phoenix reacted that way because I think they're starting to realize that their place in the West isn't exactly safe anymore, and these young teams are coming. So am I tripping to think that?
I mean, Hey, Kyle, we just had my show like what? Not even 24 hours? No, maybe more than 24 hours ago, and we talked about the same situation. Like, I mean, I'll say it on this show. Like, I mean, the Pelicans are the Suns' daddy right now. I mean, they kind of own the Suns right now. I mean, they won the 2 games. I mean, and like you said, the Suns. I don't know what their identity is. I mean, do they want to fight and brawl, or do they want to play basketball? I mean, I get it. That dunk was kind of disrespectful, but in a way, it's not because, like I said, Zion, he did admit that it was kind of like at a pocket, but he did admit that he said last year that, that same team knocked out my team in the playoffs when I wasn't around. So it's just, insult to injury. So, I mean, I thought the dunk was, right, because why not? I mean, they're up.
Yeah, I don't.
They've earned that. They earned that lead. They played hard. And then they want to brawl and cause fights. Like, okay, if that's the problem, you want to start a brawl. Then how come y'all don't? How come y'all are not in the lead in that game? You know what I'm saying? Now, it would be different if like the Suns were in the lead and then Zion just dunked it, because that'd be like, so what? All right, y'all lost, but I mean, Pelicans won in a fashionable way.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
I don't.
I
see it. I know it's like the unwritten rules are like, you shouldn't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, but then again, it's like Zion have every right to do that. Like,
yeah, I saw someone say, why were the Suns worried about the 2 points on that dunk when they should have been worried about the 134 other points they got scored on them?
That's my point.
It's like it's not like that dunk was to end the game, like it was a buzzer beater dunk or anything like that. It was. Yeah, blowout dunk. You lost. Like,
yeah, Zion went off again.
Get over it.
Game
Stop
too,
it.
anyway.
Zion wouldn't have tried that dunk or went for that dunk if the Suns were winning that game.
That's what I'm saying.
So like, he did that because you guys lost. That's like your fault.
You can't just stop playing. Yep, I agree.
Exactly.
Yeah, like
exactly.
It's like Cameron Payne wants to start fights. Me and Kyle have our.
Cameron Payne is one of the more annoying players in the NBA.
Me and Kyle hate Kyle Payne, man. Like with a passion.
There's something about him I just can't stand to see him.
Okay. I like a couple years ago. I didn't like Marcus Smart because he kind of like playing against seeing him play against other teams, like he was annoying.
It's those mouthy, aggressive players. It's the same reason people don't like Patrick Beverly. Like,
right? Yeah.
I mean, but Marcus Smart, he earned it. He got the Defensive Player of the Year. But back in the day, I didn't like him either. Like the Cameron Payne, he has no resume or track record of any winning. He had no awards to his name.
Everyone's like, and you ever hear say man, you hear about that campaign game?
Man, I was on board with your dad, and then he comes up with this. I hate Smart. All right,
and he hates who he hates.
He's
a Larry Bird fan. Like one of his favorite players is Larry Bird. Okay. So there you go.
All right, okay, I can live with that.
Gregory is saved.
yeah, save for now because I feel like there's more comments coming. But
probably he has a lot of disdain for a lot of NBA players.
Who's your Greg? You're still watching. Who's your team, brother?
He's a Warriors guy.
Oh, did he just get ejected, Curry, or is he injured? I thought he'll go to the locker room.
He's saying phew, so I guess it wasn't that bad. But I mean, I get it. I know Smart can rub a lot of people the wrong way, just like you said, Dylan. Patrick Beverly does the same thing. But my thing is, at least on Marcus Smart, we know great defensive player. Patrick Beverly, defensive player. Right. Cam Payne, it's like, what does he do well? Nothing. I don't
know. Does he warm up?
He'll get you 20 a night, like occasionally. He might get you a good 20 points, like one every 2 weeks, one game every 2 weeks. He might get
if I'm facing the Suns, I'm not game planning for Cam Payne at all. I don't care what he does.
Yeah, but also if you let Cam Payne like drop 30 on you like he has a couple times this season, you kind of like, oh.
I'll be like, he got lucky.
It's like, how did we let Cam Payne drop 30 on us? Like, I thought he was the water boy.
He got lucky. That's all I would say.
I think the best thing that he does well is just warm up the bench, man. He's
I
like
mean,
he's like a Udonis Haslam, man. He gets his team
I
riled up.
won't lie.
I
He
wouldn't
is
go
a
that far.
decent point guard. I won't lie. He's a decent
Yeah.
bench point guard. Like I won't. He did do some things in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like he did have his moments. He probably deserved
But
his
like
money
but
that
like
he
I
got.
said, there's
but
something
like
about him that like it's just the way he looks. Maybe it's the way he acts. I don't know.
Yeah, there's just players like that. Like
wanna
that's
be
kind of
like-
how I am. That's kind of how I am with
like-
James Harden. Like I don't like James Harden because just how he acts, how he plays. Like just
Yeah,
specific players.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be like stereotypical or prejudiced. I don't know. I don't know. Definitely, I'm not trying to
you're
be
good.
like that way. But it's just like
I think
There's
part of it
something
is,
about it.
is kind of he has like a goofy shot.
yeah.
It's like a really weird form.
Even in 2K, I can't even shoot with him, man. It's so hard because his shot is so
I can
awkward.
only imagine. Like I've never used him in the game, but I feel like
It's
with
like-
that type of form,
like-
it's got to be hard to
It's
time
like,
it right.
It's like this.
It probably can't be worse than Sean Marion in 2K.
Oh man.
Oh, that was that was.
Oh,
nuts.
oh
Oh
man.
my god. Yeah, the triple
Oh,
step. back.
man. Was that James Harden?
Yep.
I still don't know how he got away with that move.
It's Harden. That's why. Like, it's the answer. I
Yeah,
don't
but
know.
the easy way
Doesn't make
again
it
to
right.
stop doing it, start calling it what it is. I still say it's a travel, and I'm gonna stick with that.
Right. I mean, I agree with you.
All right, let's do another one here. All right, so am I tripping if I think that the Knicks might be making a mistake on giving up on Cam Reddish?
I.
That's
No.
tough because it
Mm.
just depends on like what the Knicks' like game plan is for the future. I guess you could say so, but again, also at the same time, when you look at their roster with like Jalen Brunson, R.J. Barrett, Mitchell Robinson, Obi Toppin, like what they're trying to go with their identity, does Cam Reddish really fit that? And if the answer is no, then it's like, I guess not. But also, you got to look at it as a talent wise. Like Cam Reddish was like, of course, he was part of that big three with definitely
See.
Zion Williamson and
That's it, I'm
R.J. Barrett
tripping.
as well. Yeah, we were really high on Cam Reddish. We like Cam Reddish a lot. But yeah, when you look at it in that sense, when you think of like how much potential and talent he did have, especially coming into the league, it's like he still has a lot he probably could show. He's had some flashes. I feel like the Hawks gave up on him too early, let alone the Knicks not even playing him. So, like I said last time we talked about Cam Reddish, like put him on a team that's going to let him play. You don't need to put him on a contender. Like teams don't need Cam Reddish because he hasn't proved to be one of those guys to be good on a contender yet. So put him on a team that's going to let him play. Even if you're getting him 15 to 20 minutes off the bench every night, like you don't even have to give him a lot. Like a team like the Rockets, a team like the Spurs, I said the Lakers, put him in the Jazz, the Hornets, those type of teams who can like give him those type of minutes. Do that, let him work on his skill set. But yeah, it just depends. Like if the Knicks think they're going to be playoff eligible and they kind of have like an identity they want to go with, I would say no, you're not really tripping. As long as they move him, like if you're going to give up on him, move him so you can get better for the short term if that is your plan. But if they keep him, yeah, they're definitely tripping for not playing him or anything like that.
Okay. I'm kind of along the lines where I think there's enough questions about the Knicks in terms of their chemistry as a team that I find it hard to believe that they couldn't carve out minutes for Reddish when you're talking about Julius Randle's supposedly your best player, but he's not a number one guy. RJ Barrett's taken a step back this year because his shooting percentages have been kind of in the toilet so far.
But didn't he play a lot better towards the second half of the season last year too?
Yeah, but he kind of came into the season, I think he was kind of talking a lot about himself, trying to say he's, one of the great players in the league, and then it's like your shootings went down. So maybe he does the same thing this year where second half he really turns it on. But, Brunson was a good move. I feel like Obi Toppin's another one of the guys that kind of seems like he doesn't, like they don't know what to do with him. I've seen Knick games where he's basically just a 3-point shooter at this point. And it's like,
I was really high on him too, because especially coming out of like Dayton, like
Right.
I think
And-
I think that was the COVID year, and so like Dayton didn't even get to play in like the NCAA tournament that year. And like San Diego
That's right.
State was ranked like number 4. It was like all crazy. Like Dayton and San Diego State were going to be like
Yeah.
your two of your number 1 seeds in that like tournament. But
Yeah.
yeah, I have not heard a lot about him. He was this big kind of like athletic type of power forward, stretch 4 type of guy. He could dunk, definitely.
Mhm.
He still kind of has that dunking ability. You kind of hear him getting a highlight play here
Yeah.
and there, doing something flashy. But yeah, he's been a little upsetting for sure, especially where they drafted him at.
Like I thought New York would have been a place where Reddish was going to get like a legitimate chance, because in Atlanta it was, that was a team that had, Trey Young, Gallinari.
I really feel like it could. I feel like it was possible, especially with like, we didn't really keep Gallinari for super long.
Right.
I feel like I would have rather have just avoided getting Gallinari, period, and worked on that time like progressing Cam Reddish, because I feel like we'd be in a lot better state if we had like a 3-year Cam Reddish getting like 10, 20, 15 minutes every night. Then we don't even have Gallinari anymore. He's injured on your team.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I feel like Reddish has just been a victim of circumstance at this point. Because I liked when
Exactly.
the Hawks picked him, but then I was like, they were never going to use him, right? Because like they built everything around Trey Young to the point where
I
Reddish
thought
wouldn't
he'd
have
be
fit.
a great 6-man. I thought because like the thing with Cam Reddish is he had good size, and then he had like good shooting as well too, especially for his size. So it's like he had the potential to be very great on the defensive end, like if he could get some more help. But also he had great shooting, so it's like put him on the bench as like a 6-man, as like one of your main scorers. Like I thought you could do something. He looked good, but it sucks. I hope he does find a good spot like that will actually play him.
Yeah, like Greg,
if that
like,
is the Knicks or somewhere else, that seems to. We'll see. The middle of the season, we're like 30 games in, so we're getting to the point where like we're getting to that halfway point. So trades and stuff are going to probably start be ramping up fairly soon. 30 games in, yeah. So yeah.
Jordan,
Just like Greg Dylan that said, like he's a solid player, like going in at coming from Duke, playing with RJ Barrett. I mean, I thought that once he got traded from the Hawks, I thought that I know when he got traded, I think he was hurt going in, so I think he had like an ankle injury or something like that.
Yeah, I know he wasn't playing a lot
so
on
he
the
was
Hawks
sidelined
beforehand.
He was hurt even on the Hawks too. Yeah, so the fact that I thought that they're gonna have that Duke pairing, that duo with him and Barrett. I know Barrett's kind of like the star of that team because I know they signed him to like that extension. So they're kind of making him the focus of the team. Still young sort of build around, but I thought that once Rogers got healthy and he was able to play with the team, I thought him and Barrett and Brunson. That's like a not a superstar level trio, but it's like definitely a 3 that can be utilized really well.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Dylan said that he brings shooting, he brings size. It's like a hybrid like power forward three position player where he can like play the arc. But yeah, I thought about several times. Like I don't think Tom Thibodeau kind of didn't use him right. So I kind of feel like what's going on, Freddie. But I do kind of feel like Knicks would be not at a loss of trading him, but definitely like a disappointment. Because I thought
Well, in their defense, I guess it wouldn't really so much be a disappointment. You only traded Kevin Knox for him, so it's not like you really lost out on
that was a win because Kevin Knox was doing nothing in New York.
He did nothing in Atlanta. He's on the Pistons, and he's doing nothing in Detroit. He had 14 points in a row in one game, and I'll always hang my hat on Kevin Knox's Hawks tenure on that.
Yeah.
14 points in a row in a game one time.
But Reddish is definitely a better prospect than Kevin Knox. I think Reddish can do more out on the court for sure.
I was very upset when Reddish got traded.
He reminds me
I want the Hawks to trade for him back.
Cam Reddish reminds me of like a. If I can compare him to like a old school, not old school, but like I compare him to like a young Rudy Gay, where he can that lengthy.
It's a pretty decent comparison.
I'm not mad at that one.
Yeah,
hate that.
finally, Kyle, we can agree on something, right? No,
Yes,
but like,
That's pretty
A
good.
lot of
That's
times
why-
when you try to compare, it can go sideways.
yo,
And I feel like
Karen
Rudy
Russell,
Gay,
Fine, like
Can't
that's like
Lamar
that.
Jackson.
I did. To be completely fair, I didn't. Rudy Gay came out of left field. I didn't expect that name. I heard that and I was
No,
like,
I would
oh,
say-
like oh, okay.
I'll say,
Like, I
I'll say
get
can
that.
to, I'll say can to Chris Webber, yo. Nah, but no, definitely. Cause like, I see that because like Rudy Gay was like that big body dude. He still is a big dude, like in his prime, not down shooter. He can go to the paint.
Mhm.
Cam he's a corner specialist. At some points in his career, I mean, I think he's still playing, Rudy Gay, but
I think he's still
I
hanging
think he's on
around
the
somewhere.
Jazz. I think.
He's on the
I think
Jazz.
Jazz
Yeah,
or
he's on the
something.
Jazz.
But yeah, like Cam, he can definitely, if it's not the Knicks, he can definitely go somewhere else. And I can see I'll say maybe the Kings, maybe it had a piece.
Don't hate it. Don't hate it.
He just needs to
Maybe-
go somewhere where he'll have
maybe-
like a legitimate
Yeah.
role. And
I
he'll
feel like
do
he
it
needs to
night
go
in
on a
and
team
night
that
out.
does, like I recommended like some like lesser teams like the Hornets, like
What about the? I mean, I
the
would say
Wizards,
Lakers,
the
but
Rockets,
Lakers
the
even never-
Spurs. Like I would necessarily the Lakers are
They need, like, another
are
shooting
the
piece.
exception to what I'm about to say. I would say put him on a team where he's not going to be pressured. He's kind of like in that Hawks like area. He didn't really have it wasn't really his fault that the Hawks kind of like came out of nowhere, like flash in a pan, like playoff contenders. That didn't really help because now when you look at this roster, like this Hawks roster, like oh man, we just had a pretty decent playoff run. Like this team can be something, and it's like oh man, Cam Reddish still needs 2-3 years to really be something. We can't really afford those 2-3 years. Our window's now. So it's like he kind of fell detriment to that. I think, definitely the Hawks making the Eastern Conference Finals probably wasn't really a help to his progression.
It
probably
wasn't a
didn't
help
really
to a
help
lot of things in Atlanta.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
still
it
said
definitely,
that one year
yep.
killed
It definitely
the
wasn't
way that they were
I think it
progressing.
changed kind of their whole mindset. I think they saw that as like a go now opportunity, especially with how the things ended. Like me and my dad are big Hawks fans, and I know he'll probably say this. He says it's the ref's fault. Trae Young, the Hawks didn't make it to the finals. That Trae Young injury where he slipped on the ref's ankle, out for the series, or at least he played like a game, I think, but that didn't really help. But I think that kind of changed their whole identity. And then when you get to New York, it's like, okay, we're gonna try to be this big free agent spot again. We have RJ Barrett here. He's your buddy, your high school, college teammate. Then they didn't get what they wanted for free agency. And it's like, oh, we have Jalen Brunson. Well, we're going to play something completely different now.
Yeah.
Then we don't have a spot for you. So it's just, I just feel like teams have had like an idea of what they want to do with them. And then like just circumstances have happened and he just kind of fell out.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Hey, there we go. The ref should have been fired.
See?
Yeah, you called that one. All right, I got one more. Am I tripping? I think this is a good one. Am I tripping to see what who is it? Detroit, what they're doing with this whole Cade Cunningham thing? It's clearly them tanking for Wembayama without blatantly tanking.
So I saw that he was out for the injury, out for the season with a shin injury, right? Like he needed some sort of shin surgery.
Seems really random to me.
Yeah, like I didn't even really know he was like, I knew he was injured. Like he played at the start of the season and then like I knew he was out and then he wasn't playing and then like I didn't hear him about him playing ever again and now he's just out for the season. Like it was kind of just very, very quiet. They handled it.
Yeah.
In a way that seems very shady, like they're gonna tank. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we hear like Adam Silver, peeking his nose and to see what's going on to Detroit because he's like, how he is talking about tanking, like I'm gonna shut it down, like it's not gonna happen, none of that sort of thing. So we'll see. I mean, oh well, it was about to happen.
Yeah. I think Silver's going to be paying attention to Detroit
Injury.
around the trade deadline because if we see like Sadiq Bey get traded, Isaiah Stewart get traded, guys like that, I think it would be like, okay, it's clear what they're trying to do here.
I would say like Stewart is not. Man, it's always going to be like a lot. If any center gets moved on like from a crappy team, it's going to be like, what are you doing? Like you tanking. Like for example, like if the Spurs like decide they want to move on from like Jakob Poeltl, not because like they want to tank, it's just like this dude doesn't really need to be here. He'll be decent on like a contender. Like we're just gonna get what we can get for him, and like everyone's gonna be like, oh, so you're taking now? Like, we see you trading a center away. Like, oh, you want Wembanyama? It's not gonna happen. We're taking your first round pick away.
I think Tony could get away with it because, like you said, it'll just be they're rebuilding. Pirtle's been there for a while, moving to a contender. But coming off of this Cunningham story, which I think a lot of people are like interesting, and then if they all of a sudden become really active at the trade deadline, trading guys away for picks or whatever, then it's going to be like, all right, we know what you're trying to do.
They have like no matter what they do, like any trade there that they do has to be involved for like a player. Like I wouldn't be upset if they trade some of their younger players away for like cap dump offs and like some picks and stuff like that. Okay, that's fine, but they're gonna have to be very discreet. They're gonna have to be very discreet with what they do. Like, it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah. So, Jordan, what you think about the whole Cade Cunningham shin injury?
Yeah, I didn't even think about the whole tanking, kind of like low key.
Yeah.
Tanking, but I mean they're. I mean, without even saying
tomorrow we're gonna get breaking news that LaMelo's out for the season.
That's what I'm saying. We could easily start going that way, where Charlotte does that with LaMelo. Maybe who else is at the bottom? Orlando suddenly has a guy who might be a little hurt.
Paolo Banchero.
Yeah,
out for the season.
It's something the NBA is gonna have to.
But I mean,
the Thunder were ahead of the curve. Chet Holmgren was already gone before the season started.
Yes,
that's true. Oh, imagine if that would be something else if the Thunder get I don't want to butcher his name. Wembanyama. I'll say W.
Call him Victor.
Call him Victor.
Call him Victor.
So. Yeah, maybe we could see, but hey, maybe he's really hurt. I never had a shin injury like that, so maybe he's really hurt.
He could be really hurt, but
so
shut down. He's probably hurt, but shut down for the season hurt.
Maybe if they make a playoff spot, he'll come back. No, it's like they make a
playoff spot. Nah, the team's run by rookies now and like second, third year players. They're not going anywhere.
But I didn't think about that. How like that?
It's interesting thinking that they're tanking for Wembanyama after they just traded picks to get like Jalen Duran.
I do like who's that? Jalen Ivey. Jaden Ivey. Yeah, I saw him at the Rutgers Purdue game. I saw him live. He's pretty nice. That might have like a young Russell Westbrook. His energy. So I mean they're set for the future, but they need like a couple superstars. But
I feel like they're set. I feel like they just need time.
Who wants to? But what superstar wants to play in Detroit? That's the thing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's fair. I look at the Pistons, and I don't even look at the Pistons as a team that needs more pieces. I feel like I look at the Pistons as a team that just, like I said, needs more time. You look at the team, and it's like Cade Cunningham. It's like he's really good. He just needs like a little more time. Just get there. You look at Jaden Ivey, and it's like he's a rookie, but he's going to be really good. You look at Saddiq Bey, like he's had some games where he's played really, really well. Like he's scored a lot. Like he had a 50-point game last season, and then like Isaiah Stewart and Isaiah Livers, like they have a lot of young pieces that if they keep them there for a while and let them progress and let them get older and just learn the NBA more, they could be just like good as is.
Mm-hmm. They're like teams like Milwaukee, like pre Giannis. I mean, like I read an article saying that it was like highlighting like Giannis's like training camp. I think getting drafted, like he was not the star on that team. It was Jabari Parker at the time. He was the favorite player going to the team. Crazy. And I'm thinking, hey, it is crazy now. Like thinking about like Milwaukee wasn't. I mean, Giannis wasn't even.
To think Jabari Parker was
because the only reason why
that year it makes sense that year because Giannis was playing over in Greece, which is not one of the
Yeah.
leagues in Europe you
Yeah.
think
But
about.
I'm saying, I think the reason why he wasn't really looked like that because like
Also, Giannis
there
was
was so
like
many-
7 pounds. then.
right, and the other thing is like there was even the staff was like there was so much unknown about Giannis like people didn't know about. Even I saw Giannis when he was like when Kid was the coach. I saw him in person when he played DC, and he was still big, but he was like more skinny than muscular. But yeah, like maybe they can get a star like not a Giannis, but maybe like a Giannis type player to like build around. Because like pre Giannis, like Milwaukee wasn't even like they were bad, man. Now Milwaukee's kind of like in the playoffs every year, so with because of Giannis. So
I mean, Milwaukee had good years in
I mean, they had some good years.
90s, early 2000s when they had like
Oh,
Glenn Robinson
yeah.
and stuff.
And
But yeah,
Kareem
but
and stuff.
they had a little
I'm
bit
telling
of
you,
a
like modern, like with like Bogut and like Michael Red, like this stuff.
TJ Ford.
Yeah, another yeah.
I remember TJ Ford.
But maybe they need like a superstar, maybe like an all-star player, like to build like a veteran to like build around. Like,
But I also
not
think
a
They'll
veteran,
probably be good.
Well, I
Like,
think
they
to Dylan's
have the
point-
young stars.
Yeah, if you add Wembayama, that's just another young guy you're adding to a group of young guys. And it's just like, unless you think Wembayama,
Look how Orlando's handling that right now.
Right.
Like
I mean, look at Bol. He's going off for them, man. Bol.
now, but you got to look at it. Bul's not even a player they drafted, though. Like
Right.
Bul's a player they traded for.
Shoot, imagine.
I wonder.
Victor,
I still have questions about Bol. I wonder, is he one of those guys who could be consistently,
I mean,
20 points a
Greg
game?
likes Bol.
Huh?
Greg likes Bol.
I mean, he's like a freakish talent, so I get that. You don't see guys that tall with handles like that, and
I can shoot too.
right. I was on the Bulls train from the beginning. Oh, didn't show. He went what? Oregon? Is that where he went to
Yeah,
school?
but he didn't really play that much there. He was injured and then kind of just. That's why he fell in the draft so much. He was like second round. Pick.
I think he's on the Nuggets. I think for a couple.
Yeah, he was second round. If I had to be a betting man and take a pick, I'm pretty sure he was second round pick 54. If I had to take a guess.
That's specific, man.
Well, if I had to take a guess, like if I had, like I was thinking about it, and I'm like, I'm pretty confident he was.
Why
pick
not
54.
Why not round 2, 34? Round 2, pick 34.
Well, I think,
Because I think he was 54.
well, I also think because him getting drafted to the Nuggets, I feel like the Nuggets were
Yeah,
probably at the bottom.
No, it was 44. Dang it!
Okay.
I knew it was a 4.
I mean, it's not bad. Only 10 picks off. Let's see. I think I said that was my last one. I was trying to see if there was another.
I mean, did we talk about Kawhi Leonard and his bull crap?
I was about to get into that. I was to see if I had another. Am I tripping? But yeah, we could talk about.
Is that article that Freddie sent, is that real?
There you go, Dylan. Apparently, you know things.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I guess I'll let the viewers and listeners know. So Kawhi Leonard, they get a big win against the Celtics last night. He basically comes out and says, it's just a game. I don't even want to be here. I'm more worried about the playoffs. That's me paraphrasing. That's not the full quote, but that's basically.
Does that mean is he going to sit out, or what does that mean?
That basically means, if he sits out, there's really no sweat off his back. He's thinking long term. He just wants to make sure that he's healthy when the playoffs come around, because I think he can realize that this Clippers team, if he's healthy, they're a legitimate title contender, because not a lot of teams have wings like Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. A lot of teams don't know how to deal with that. And then John Wall
Yeah.
has played great this season. I really hope he makes it through the year healthy, because John Wall's been one of those guys where when he's on the court, it's just,
All right, Greg. Good night, man. Thanks for contributing.
Good night, Greg. Appreciate you tuning in. Hopefully, every week you become a regular person in the comments, because bring a lot to this show. Correcting us on when we make a mistake, calling my team out. It's all right.
Yeah, he wasn't necessarily calling your team out. He's just calling Marcus Smart out.
Marcus Smart is the heart and soul of the Celtics. All right.
And that's sad.
I'm just joking with that. I mean, he kind of is though. He's like the high energy effort guy. Gets the
He's your
bench
green-haired
fired up.
Pat Bev.
He's a more talented Pat Bev.
He's your green hair younger Pat Bev.
More talented. I mean, Pat Bev. I honestly can't remember the last basket he's made.
Fair enough.
He
Who,
gets-
Pat Bev?
Yeah, he's gonna get a tech tonight. Him and Marcus Smart gonna get into it. That's a guarantee. Guarantee.
You think? You think that's possible? You think?
Guarantee it. I wouldn't be surprised if
I
one
guess
of
it
them
is
gets
Lakers
kicked out.
Celtics. I guess it's like the Lakers and Celtics.
Is it-
It's not like they have the greatest blood, like Tatum, talking
I'm a-
shit to LeBron, all that stuff.
I'm assuming it's in LA, right? Since the 10 o'clock game.
Yep.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the fans can be a factor, but LA is, I don't know.
LA fans are weird, man. They're just because we see it with the Rams and Chargers. LA fans don't show out. Angels, Dodgers, they're like late to the games. Lakers, it's like depending on the game. So I think tonight Lakers fans will probably be into it because of the Celtics, but a lot of nights they're just kind of like, okay. But all right, we'll get back to Kawhi. So
Yeah,
that's basically his mentality. I can't say I'm mad at that, but I can see where a lot of people just hearing him say that
Yeah.
would be like, it's not really the right
Yeah.
thing to say because
it's like,
I don't know. It's just
Yeah, I don't agree with it either. I can see why
Yeah.
people would be upset. I'm not particularly upset about it because it was said by Kawhi Leonard, but now I'm used to Kawhi Leonard not really caring about anything. Like I see his
I will-
demeanor. I feel like it came off in probably the tone he didn't want. I think he probably meant like this is just a regular season win. Like these don't matter. Like I'll celebrate when
Right.
it's the playoffs. Like I don't want to be here. Like I want to be in the playoffs. Like that's when the wins matter. That's when the energy and atmosphere matters. And I think that's probably the tone he was going for, but it didn't come off that way. And then also at the same time, Kawhi's that type of person who doesn't have a lot of energy anyways. So it's like, I don't think it's that much in my opinion, but he's a big name. He's a star. There's always going to be something about it. I think it just probably didn't come off the way he wanted.
I mean, I completely agree with him though. For the Clippers, they need Paul George, Kawhi, John Wall. If they can get those three healthy when the playoffs come around, they'll feel really good about their chances in the West. If one of them
Yeah.
is down, it's going to be tough.
My thing is with the Clippers, they can make the playoffs just running a rotation of probably their roster. Like Kawhi's never going to win an MVP. People just need to realize that he's not going to play a full season anymore. Probably the same with Paul George. I would say a little less probably on Paul George, more likely to play a full season, but definitely on the Kawhi end. He's not going to play a full season because he doesn't want to play a full season.
yeah.
Like,
I mean, I'm saying if people want to give a pass to I'm not saying people are giving him a pass, but if people are giving a quiet pass for his statement that he just had, then why are we getting a pass to Ben Simmons? But then again, Kawhi. Obviously Kawhi is a better player than Ben, but just like that, just saying that it's just a regular season game. It don't matter. Well, obviously games matter towards
yeah, they do. They do.
playoff seeding. You know what I'm saying? So
But I think Kawhi's also saying, as long as they're in the top 6, don't have to worry about a playing game. I think he likes their chances if they're all healthy. And like I said, if you look at the top 6 in the West, you're probably looking at Phoenix, New Orleans, Denver,
Memphis.
Memphis. That's 4. The Clippers 5, and then the 6th team might be
Golden State.
Yeah.
Portland's 5 or 6 right now. Maybe Sacramento. Minnesota could turn it around. You have some,
y'all see LA being a playing team? The
probably,
Lakers.
Probably.
Mhm.
They could probably turn it around. I feel like my cap for the Lakers right now is a 5th seed. I feel like they could get a 5th seed. That 5th seed area is kind of like a gray area. I think 4th seed I don't know exactly where it's at, but I know the Trailblazers at a specific spot, and then I think the Kings are right above them. So right where the Kings are at in that area, so probably 4 or 5 is their cap. I feel like, man, New Orleans looks nice. They're going to be pretty dominant. You're always going to have the Suns, and then Memphis is always one of those good teams when it comes to the regular season as well. So, yeah, these younger teams are definitely going to shine. So I think the Lakers are going to be pretty good at like a 5th seed cap, but a play-in.
Yeah.
As like their worst case playoff case scenario. Of course, their worst case scenario is not making it.
Right. Because it could come to the point where the Lakers may be in the play-in, and then they might have to weigh like how much energy do they put into trying to fight up just to get like the 6th spot or the 5th spot, and risk burning out LeBron or AD or something like that.
Right.
I feel like to be fair though, I think they would rather, like, if possible, like they would want to get that. Like if they're teetering at like 8th, 7th, like they're getting that 6th spot. Like they're gonna work their ass off.
Oh yeah,
that 6th spot.
I mean, they
not
should,
unless they're like 5
you don't
games
want to be
down.
in the play.
Not unless they're 5 games down with like 3 games left in the season type scenario. Like that's not gonna happen. Of course, they'll probably pump the brakes then. But
yeah.
I feel like with them being an older roster and definitely an inexperienced roster, you don't want to put them in a one and done scenario. You'd rather put the Lakers in a 7-game scenario where, like, if they have a bad game, like, LeBron can kind of regroup them rather than that bad game be the game that kicks you out of the playoffs.
Right.
Because it's one and done in those play-in games.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think, let me see. I think I had another question that I literally just thought about. And who was it about? What's the Lakers? No. I can't remember. Maybe if I think of it later. Oh, Brooklyn. What do we make of Brooklyn's recent run? Because it kind of seems like they're starting to figure some things out.
I like it. I mean, 7 in a row is their win streak?
They are. Hold on, I got it right here.
I'm pretty sure they're on a win streak of at least 5.
They won 4 in a row, but they're 8-2 in their last 10.
Okay, that's what I saw. So yeah, I mean, like, it was just a matter of time, really. Our biggest problem with the Nets is that they couldn't get their players on the court. It wasn't a matter of like, this team's bad when Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, and everyone plays, and that was kind of the case at the start of the season. But we also got to remember that Kyrie didn't really play that much with Kevin Durant beforehand, anyways, as well, before they started playing together. So, I mean, they have the talent for it, so I shouldn't say I'm surprised. Things have been kind of pretty quiet on the Nets' forefront as of late, especially on the news end. It felt like we were getting some sort of news about them every other day or every couple of days. Now it seems to be fairly quiet. So, yeah, I'm not really surprised. They have the talent for it. It was just a matter of, like, when the personalities are going to, play.
Okay. Yeah, Jordan, I was just saying, with Brooklyn's recent play, what do we make of it?
Yeah, I gotta say my bad. I keep on, like, my dog is acting up.
That's cool. It's cool.
Cause she smells my food, so she's all. But yeah. The Brooklyn's play, I mean, it's been all right. I mean, I think Kyrie is, playing like Kyrie. I saw that one play where I think Kyrie drove to the paint and he did like an arrow step.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Kyrie does. And KD was on the bench
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like, I think it's still kind of early because obviously they're kind of all playing consistently together. Kyrie and KD. I think Ben is still hurt or not playing. So
No, I think last game Ben played, and I think he won like 6 or. I think he had a pretty good shooting night. Only thing is, if you look at his shot chart, it's basically all at the rim still.
Yeah,
but I mean, if that's the way he scores, that's the way he scores. I think he was in double digits. So I think on that end there.
I'd rather be a shot total or around the hoop than behind the arc. So, I definitely see them gelling together right now. I think they're like six. I think they have like 16 wins. I think 4.5 games behind first place, or like
They're
five,
17 and 12.
17, 12. So like they're like 5.5 games
Four and
below
a half. Four and a half
4.5.
behind the
So
Celtics. Yep.
yeah. So hey Dylan, since you were on my show on Monday, I posed a question like, yes, the Celtics are like have like 21 wins. But like, do you think they're the best team in the NBA, even though like Milwaukee's right behind them, and other teams are kind
I've
of like,
been fairly open on saying that like I feel like the Celtics are the best team until they prove to me that they're not. They've lost their last two games, and again, that
but
does say something as of recent. But as of now,
yeah,
I would probably still say the Celtics are the best team.
but like
The Pelicans have. Oh, my bad.
yeah,
Finish your question.
yeah. I'm like, I guess my point was, yeah, like I didn't mean to interrupt, but I was thinking, I guess my point was like, yeah, they had 21 wins on this on it, or 22 wins on the season, but like with teams like kind of like not far behind them, like did that really make them the best team in the league? Because they're not really like they haven't really like been like, for instance, like Milwaukee's like a half game back from first place.
Yeah.
You
So your thing
know,
was like they haven't distanced themselves record-wise
from the
from teams.
pack,
So
right?
should we say that they're the best team in the NBA?
I would say they did distance themselves until just recently. You know, they lost their last two games. If they won those last two games, they would still be 3, 4 games, 3.5
Right.
games ahead. You know, so if they didn't lose those two games, we'd still be looking at it as a different scenario. You know, it's different saying that are they the best team in the NBA? I would still say yes. I would feel like they haven't been played as the best team in the NBA their last couple games, and it's kind of shown.
That's
But I
fair.
feel like when the Celtics are all on the right and same page, they play like one of the best teams, and they played like that for a big stretch. So I think it was only a matter of time till they slowed down. You know, every team's going to lose a couple of games. Your best players aren't going to be averaging their averages every night. Like that's
That's
what
fair.
just happens. It's the NBA. So yeah, I would still say the Celtics are. You know, I still like teams like I said. Like you bring up the Bucks, who are always going to be a good team like that, and then it's always iffy because regular season team. There's always going to be those regular season teams. Like I think of the Suns now as like one of those regular season teams.
Mhm.
Like they're going to play great because they have a lot of youth and depth. But are they really the best team in the NBA?
Right.
It's hard to
Yeah,
say.
That's fair. That's fair.
All right. Let's go NFL. Why not? I think we covered enough about the NBA. So we'll get into thumbs up, thumbs down to recap what happened this past weekend. Another interesting week in the NFL.
For sure. For sure.
Let's see.
Kyler Murray's out for the year, ACL.
Sadly,
Yeah, I mean that's like always the worry with scrambling quarterbacks. They take one little shift of the body weight,
Yeah.
then their knee could give out.
Yeah, it wasn't
Especially
even
on that
it was
playing
like
surface
it
in
was
Arizona this year.
non-contact too. Yeah.
Yeah, those are always the worst ones because usually non-contact, you're thinking blown up knee or Achilles. Those are like the major ones when it's like non-contact. And for him, he went down. He automatically grabbed his knee when he was on the cart. He slammed his fist on the cart because he knew it was a big deal. And I mean, yes, it hasn't been a good season for them, but you never like to see.
yeah, you don't. Yeah, you'd rather go out with the season just having a losing record and a healthy knee rather than having a losing record and a blown up knee.
I agree.
You can say the same with Russell Wilson. The way that he went out, concussion, and it was one of those where the camera zoomed in and, he was clearly out of it. And then he popped up real quick, but they were like holding it up, and he was still, you could see, dazed and confused.
Yeah, they
And
were.
he's
He was
actually
saying,
having a really good game, too.
yeah, I think he was saying how like the NFL need to do a better job of like, because they're planning on like continuing that play, and they didn't know like he was. I talking about that one play where that one dude went down.
No,
and
that
he
was
kept
the
him up.
Patriots game last night.
Oh yeah, the Patriots Cardinals. Yeah, when who went down? I think it was
Devontae Parker
Devontae
went
Parker.
down. He got up, and Aguilar was trying to get the ref's attention like he's not right because Parker went and lined up for the next play, but he couldn't even keep his balance, and he kept like rocking back and forth. And finally, Aguilar got their attention, and they pulled him from the game.
Yeah.
I think that's probably going to lead the real change in playing surfaces. I just don't know. Can these stadiums like switch it over next year? But I could see maybe 2 years down the line
as far as like
Start
making
seeing
that
natural
real
grass
grass.
becoming
Well,
Americans.
isn't Arizona's field? Isn't it grass, but it's like rolled up? Like
I
it's
think
like
I think it's that field turf, isn't it?
it's field turf. Cause I know they roll it up. It's not like the Jets turf. Like because I heard it's like I think it's real grass, but like they rolled it up. But I'm not sure. It might be field turf. I'm not sure. I gotta look that up. Though.
Oh, Dylan, your screen went black. Hold on.
Oh,
Yeah, Dylan, you have a black screen. Oh, okay, he's gonna come back.
but
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the league's gonna do something about it because
They
players are
should,
now
yeah.
speaking out about it. I know that the Giants and the Jets are changing their field, although they're not changing the grass. They're, I guess, changing to a different turf. Which, I mean, I guess that probably fixes some of the problem, but
Well, one of the my friend that are Giants. I think she's a Giants fan. She said that like at MetLife, the touchdown, the end zone is natural grass, but the field is like turf. So it's like a mixture of both. That's what I've heard. I'm not sure if anyone can confirm that because I know when.
if that is true, I wouldn't see the point of it. Why have natural grass in the end zone and not the rest of the field?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, Dylan, did you know about that? Have MetLife on the Giants? Is there a field all turf? 'Cause I know one of my friends that the end zone is natural grass, and that the green on that field is turf.
That could probably be the case. I know, like, their actual field itself, like, at least the parts where people are getting injured mostly on the field is turf, so.
But I mean, if they have natural grass in the end zone and they left
Yeah,
turf
I
for
don't.
the
I
actual
find that
playing-
weird. I would just assume it's all turf because if you have grass, what's the point of having grass?
Yeah.
Just that one.
Like if that
spot?
was the case, if I was a player and I got hurt on that surface, I'd be even more upset about it because I'd be like, "You got natural grass there. Just do the
Yeah,
whole
I'm not
field."
sure. I feel like that would have been said by now. I feel like that came up in an argument. It's like they already have it.
Yeah,
Let me look that up real quick. MetLife.
yeah. I kind of want to know about that. But yeah, while looking that up, but I'll do a couple of thumbs up, thumbs down. So, what's the first one? All right, thumbs up, thumbs down. All right. So the Patriots now have the 7th seed in the AFC,
Whoop,
With
good for you, Kyle.
right? With the Chargers and Jets right there. Same record. Patriots only have it because they have a better conference record than the Chargers, who have a better conference record than the Jets.
But you also have tiebreaker against Jets too.
Yes. Yeah. So the Jets are third out of those three. So thumbs up, thumbs down. The Patriots make the playoffs at the end of the season.
So
The remaining games are
the Raiders, which is nice.
Raiders, Bengals,
Raiders,
Dolphins, Bills. Other
Yeah. Wolf. That's a rough batch. Definitely
It
that
is.
Raiders game is definitely a winnable game. You get some help that the Dolphins and the Bills get to beat each other up next week too. So that's a little bit nice. The Bengals have a rough game against the Buccaneers. The Titans have to play the Chargers. So it's also in your favor that all the teams that you need to lose are not playing any good games themselves. You have to play the Bengals. You know, that's definitely a game that's going to be a must win. Yeah, I feel like it's possible. I'm going to say if I had to make a prediction, is it possible? Yes. But if I had to say, will they make it at the end of the year? I'm going to say thumbs down on saying no, they won't.
Okay.
I feel like I said it pretty confidently on Sunday when I made my pick for the Chargers in that Miami game. Like, I have the Chargers making the last spot, and they just have to prove it to me otherwise, and they won. And I said, I'm on the Chargers train, and I'd still be on the Chargers train if they beat Miami, and they did. So I'm gonna stick with the Chargers for now. But I still think it's very possible. The Patriots do definitely have a good chance.
Okay. Jordan, what you say?
Say Chargers and Patriots.
So the Patriots have the seventh spot in the AFC right now. Thumbs up if you think they keep that spot, and our playoff team. Thumbs down if you think, I guess, either the Chargers or the Jets overtake them. Unless if you think maybe there's a team ahead of them that maybe falls out.
Yeah, the Chargers got the Colts next week, so on Monday night.
Let me see. Who the the Patriots have to play the Bills again, right?
Yeah, Raiders, Bengals, Dolphins, Bills. I mean, the only team that's kind of in the playoffs right now who might fall out, I guess the Dolphins, since they're 8-5, and those teams are 7-6.
Right.
Other than that, everybody's got. So I think they're kind of safe.
I can definitely see the Patriots winning against the Raiders, but I mean, if Devontae Adams goes off like the other, not the last game, but the other game, he had like 2 touchdowns and so many, I think 200 something, 300 something yards on the receiving. So I can definitely see them winning that game. Bengals are going to be a tough one for them. Just those conference or no, those division games, like you say with the Ravens, like they can be tricky sometimes. Like the fact that they have Dolphins and the Bills and the Bengals. I wouldn't say they're. I wouldn't say they're going to win out, but I mean it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to keep that spot. But I do see them winning against the Raiders comfortably, depending if Adam has a good game or not, and Josh Jacobs. I know Judon, watching Judon last night. Like I wish he was back on the Ravens, man. Like we sure do miss Judon. Last night the way he timed, not jumping off sides, but timed into the quarterback. Just show the replay, like he really timed the way he got the line. His timing is really key.
That's his best skill as a D end. He seems to get it right at the snap, and because of that, he can use his speed to get around guys. But I think a lot of his success this season is because Uche on the other side has finally come into his own, and we've seen the guy who was playing at Michigan finally be that threat on the other side, and that's helped Judon a lot. But just let you know,
definitely worth a second round pick too.
Yeah, for sure. I did talk about the Dolphins because they're a game ahead of, Patriots, Chargers, and the Jets. Mm-hmm. The Dolphins' last 4 games are at Buffalo, then Green Bay, at New England, and the Jets. So, not necessarily an easy stretch for the Dolphins.
I know. I mean, I would probably talk different about the Miami if they would have won against the Chargers, but I mean, obviously they put them at 8-5. I feel like they'd be more comfortable if they won that game against the Chargers.
Oh yeah, definitely being 9-4, they probably would have been someone we would have looked at as a lock because one more win in their last 4 probably would have just sealed it for them.
Yeah. So
now, two out of your last 4 is a little bit of a trickier story.
Right. I think both teams, since they're kind of in the same division, they definitely. I mean, I could definitely see them beating the Packers. I mean, because Packers have problems of their own, but like I said, it's in Lambeau, right? It's gonna be cold, so Miami not used to that.
Warm weather teams playing late in the season in cold stadiums.
Isn't Tyreek Hill hurt or banged up a little bit?
No, he came back. He came back.
Actually, no. The Green Bay game is in Miami. I thought that was
out damn. So shit.
Their road games are Buffalo and New England. Home games, Green Bay.
Still cold area games for the warm team. Right. So it's your logic still applies, Jordan.
Yeah, I mean they call the ice tundra in Milwaukee for a reason, but since they're not playing but they are playing in Buffalo, so I mean.
I think the game's supposed to be like 9 degrees that game, I think.
Yeah, I don't see the NFL unless something substantial happens. I don't see the NFL moving this game like they did the other game.
No. I mean, that was like
unless
5 feet
Buffalo
of
gets unless Buffalo gets a lot of snow, I don't see that happening and then moving the game. But
we're going to Detroit Part 2.
Right.
But they both kind of have tough roads to the playoffs because obviously they're in the same conference, so they play each other. So that kind of is like the Ravens Bengals last game of the season, like that crucial game, to to push one team over the other. So it can come down to conference games. They have two. Well, no, we have basically we have three: the Steelers, Browns, and Bengals. But it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough for Patriots in Miami.
All right.
But,
Yeah, as one more thing on the Chargers, you look at the Chargers' last 4 games in order. They play the Titans, the Colts, the Rams, and the Broncos. We were talking about the Chargers. We kind of didn't think they were going to make it, especially with how Nathaniel Hacken's been coaching. But they're in a prime position, especially with like the Broncos not really doing anything. They could play upset if Russ is still playing at that time, or if they just don't shut him down for the season. Like, I think they probably should, especially with 10 losses, just shut Russ down for the season. Whoever's your backup, let him finish it out. Yeah, I feel like the Chargers are just in a prime spot to get it. The only game that could maybe be a little iffy is that Titans game, and if Baker Mayfield's still on his upset run, he could upset the Chargers.
That's true. Yeah, I didn't even know the Chargers remaining scheduled until I just looked at it. So the Chargers, out of the 3 between the Patriots and the Jets, Chargers have the easiest schedule, so they probably would be the favorite out of the 3 to make a playoff spot. But that Dolphins last run, I could see them falling out now, especially the Buffalo game's going to be tough, New England's going to be tough, and that Jets game at the end of the season could be the difference between one of them maybe getting in and sitting outside the playoffs. Since coming up on almost 2 hours, I'll do one more thumbs up, thumbs down. We'll do our picks and then final thoughts, or I guess talk maybe quickly about bowl games. We'll see. But
that'd be a combo of itself. The bowl games.
Well, it was mainly like just seeing which ones were kind of interesting matchup wise.
Gotcha.
Because we'll still talk bowl games like even next week because they'll still, I think only.
Yeah, what's a week from today?
When does the
I think the first one's like the 16th or 17th.
When does Georgia and them play? They play this Saturday.
They don't play till like the 1st,
like
the 31st, or whatever.
Oh,
yeah, they play. It's weird. The college football championship game is on like a Tuesday too.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be having our little podcast.
They got rest. This team got a lot of rest.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how the scheduling is gonna play out for an expanded one, because 4 teams are getting a bye. So are they just gonna wait a week or 2 and then just get into it? Because I imagine you almost have to if you want to get done by the New Year's era.
Right.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. Well, they have bowl games that go past New Year's, so I guess they can still kind of keep that.
Yeah, but
I think
that's because the champion. That's just because the championship's played on the 7th. It's usually played on that Tuesday. The semifinals are played on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, and then the championship's the week after that on the 8th.
Yeah, I thought they'll probably still keep the same timetable. Maybe extend maybe another week. Well, the week after, because I know college football doesn't want to get too much into NFL playoffs.
Yeah.
They don't want that to overlap too much because they'll lose.
Well, they won't now with 18 weeks. They won't, because there'll be games going on. The 8th is, I think, the final week of the regular season. So it's
right.
They'll have they won't get into regular playoff time either. So
that might be it. They might just extend out a little bit to kind of go with the last week of the regular season in the NFL. I think, however they figure it out, I do want to see that as well. I'm kind of curious how they're going to plan out the expanded playoff.
We want it now and put it in next season. Quit lollygagging.
All right.
Garbage.
They already said 2024, but whatever.
Brad, 2023.
You're right. I don't see why they can't do it, but all right. So next one, thumbs up, thumbs down. All right. The Bucks. They're 6-7. They still lead the NFC South.
Oh man!
But if you look behind them, Carolina all of a sudden is in second place in that division at 5-8.
So they can get into the playoffs with a 5-8 record.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we've had teams
NFC East all over again.
Oh man.
The Seahawks got in 7-9 one year with when they had beast mode. and they ended up winning their wild card game. So it's happened before. Um, I guess thumbs up if you think the Bucks still win that division.
Who's the remaining schedule?
I can tell you that because that actually might play into this.
It all
So
depends on who they play.
they have the Bengals,
Oh man,
Cardinals, and then it's Panthers, Falcons.
I definitely could see them winning against.
I think
Yeah,
the way
You're
it is,
going 3-1.
I think the Panthers actually control their destiny. Technically, if they win out, they would end up winning the division over the Bucks. But I think so.
Oh,
I
because
think
they'll
it's-
have another game. They'll have another game against the Bucks. That's right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, you think the Bucks win that division? Thumbs up.
Yeah. What did you said? The Bucks record 6-8.
They're 6-7.
They're 6-7, so they'll finish the season 9-8. They'll finish
Yeah.
9-8. Lose that game to the Bengals.
Yeah, the only thing I can say is the Bengals are going to be a tough one, but who knows? They can beat. I don't know. Tom Brady is Tom
Marcus
Brady.
Mariota is probably out for the season too for the Falcons.
Colin Murray's out for the Falcons.
Yeah,
for the
they made
Cardinals.
the
The Cardinals.
They made the switch
Yeah.
to Desmond Ritter.
Yeah, I look at it like, yeah, nothing about the Panthers or anything the Panthers have done recently screams like, yeah, we can be consistently good. And
Right.
I don't know, if Sam Darnold makes a playoff spot, like, fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing will be, Bengals gonna be tough.
Right.
Cardinals, one thing they'll do, they're gonna blitz Brady all day because they love blitzing, and we've seen with that offensive line in Tampa, they can't have problems with that. Like we said, Carolina. I mean, we don't think of them as much of a threat, but they seem to be playing better here lately. And then the Falcons, who knows at the end of the season what they look like with Ritter now being the quarterback.
I got one more question. Do you think the Panthers should keep Steve Wilkes as their head coach going into the next season, especially with the success the Panthers has had after it was with him since firing that role?
I mean, I wouldn't be mad if they did, but I just have a feeling that they're not going to because they're going to want to try to get a bigger name.
They're gonna look at the Sean Payton.
They're going to try. I don't see Peyton.
Oh, Peyton's going to like the Chargers.
Right. Payton's going to want a bigger, better quarterback situation and just a better team. I think Carolina still has a lot of work to do with their roster. I don't know. Do they dip their toes into the college pool again, try to get somebody else? Do they try to go after Lincoln Riley? I know that's going to be the next hot name in college. I mean, I think Wilkes probably should at least get like a couple of years or something because I kind of feel the same way about him as I do Lovie Smith. I feel like Lovie Smith should keep the Texans job because defensively they're pretty good. They just have to figure out the quarterback situation. I think they could be like incrementally better next year than this season.
I agree.
Yeah, I just think Wilkes probably this is it for one and done, which is kind of stink because that's the same deal he got with the Cardinals. It was one and done.
I feel like they'd keep him on as like an assistant head coach or probably something.
Right, I can see that. Yeah, he stays on the staff, but they just get another head coach down there.
Unless like a college team is like, hey, be our head coach here. But I don't know.
That could happen.
Maybe if he doesn't get the job, maybe with some other NFL team who fires their coach, because there's sometimes some random firings that just happen out of nowhere you don't expect. Maybe they look at it as like a opportunity to get him as well too.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because we feel like we can pick the jobs that's going to be open, but like you said, there's always like one random one, whether it's a coach stepping down or some random firing out of nowhere. So maybe Wilkes ends up with another head coaching job, but
oh damn! The fans getting kicked out of the arena. I'm watching the words going. Security's involved.
that game's in Milwaukee.
Milwaukee.
Okay.
I'm not. I missed what happened.
Isn't it Milwaukee the same place, like the same team where that like fan locked themselves to like the basketball goal? Was that
I,
Milwaukee?
I thought that was Memphis.
Yeah, that was Minnesota.
That was Memphis, but I know there was a situation in Milwaukee where like a fan ran out or something like that.
But
I know.
I'm not
remember
sure what
watching
happened. Maybe a
Milwaukee game,
fan threw
something
something. I
crazy
didn't see-
happened.
I didn't see it, but I saw a security on the court, and I saw a fan getting escorted out. So I'm not sure what happened.
Hey man, some of these fans, I mean,
I mean,
Like, I get
have
it.
fun being banned for life, I guess.
like I get it, you paid for the ticket or whatever, but it's like you gotta understand, there's a certain line you can't cross. Like you
Yeah,
can't.
I guess have fun being banned for the rest of your life.
Right. I mean, you're getting your 5 seconds on TV of people seeing you getting escorted out, but I mean, that's gonna be it.
If you're lucky, sometimes they don't even show it. Like they cut away or cut to commercial, so it's like you did it for really nothing. Oh, they
Yeah.
said someone
Brett
said
said-
something to Draymond Green.
I said something like, okay, what is like? Was it like offensive? I guess I don't know.
Well,
Probably.
that's a normal thing.
I mean, I was thinking. I thought he was
LeBron's gotten people kicked out. Westbrook's gotten fans kicked out. That's a normal thing now. If you say something that's over the line
I
to a
wonder what
player,
the line is for that.
They'll
Because,
point
like,
you
I'd
out.
be fairly upset if some players are kind of just abusing that. Like, someone, like, I'm
even-
sorry, if someone's cursing at you, that's not anything, like, bad, like,
Mhm.
like racially or anything. They're just, like, cursing at you like just normal curse words. Like, get over it.
Like even Brett was like,
That's the
I
point.
wonder what the fan said that Dre had him kicked out of the game.
So it had to be something. Chris said had to be something to get Dre's ugly ass.
I mean, I'm assuming it
It was,
had to
probably,
be.
it was probably along those lines was what was said.
Yeah, it had to be like about family, or
You
it has to be something like that, or racial.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some of those fans don't have any limits, and they could have said any sort of thing. Like, it's
Could have
crazy.
been drinking, Once some of these fans start
It's Milwaukee.
drinking,
It's
they just-
Milwaukee out of all places. They do like
Yeah.
they do like themselves a good couple pints.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to interrupt that. Hey,
Oh, you're good.
Oh, that's fine.
All right, I'm just getting.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's do picks. Let's see. So it's gonna be the first week.
This is
With
gonna be
Saturday
hard because,
games.
Like, oh man,
Go
like
Bucks.
remember, like games were even and stuff. It's kind of hard to tell like which games are good on the money line.
I think some of those have changed at this point. Yeah, now because I think when we did the show, there was like 3 games that were even. Now there's only
Yeah.
1, so they've changed on a couple of them. All right, so Thursday night, have a really good one. Niners Seahawks.
Dylan's team, man.
Yeah, man.
think
The prophecy of
Brock
picking the
Purdy's got-
Seahawks has not been working.
issues. Yeah. Niners are 3.5 point favorite. Who you
But do you
got?
think Brock, Dylan? But do you think Brock Purdy has enough to beat the Seahawks? I mean,
Man,
I
I
mean,
don't
he has
want
like
to
a-
pick
he has-
the Seahawks.
He has like a rib injury though. I think.
who Brock?
Man,
I think so.
uh,
I thought I read.
man,
that
I don't want to
somewhere.
pick for the Seahawks because every time I pick for the Seahawks, we've lost. Like I picked for us to beat the Raiders, we lost. I picked for us to beat the Panthers, we lost. So who knows? Picking the Seahawks because it's my team and I'm not going to pick against them. But like, sucks.
Okay.
Shouldn't have
Who you
lost
got,
to the
Jordan?
Panthers. That's all I should say.
Right. Who you got? Niners Seahawks.
Well, if 19 say Brock is hurt. I thought he was.
I think he is.
Playing.
Josh Johnson season. Josh Johnson season for the 49ers.
That guy
Even better.
That guy's been around the league.
I would have to say the Seahawks in this one, man. To win.
Yeah, Brock Purdy is questionable with oblique rib injury.
This is a must-win for Seattle in Seattle. So
It's just the fact that like Dylan just said that it's a must win. I think they're going to be hungry and they try to get a W. Oh, wait, is it
they made a
Seattle
lot
or
of mistakes
San
last
Francisco?
week too.
It's
in
It's in
Seattle,
Seattle.
right?
It's in
Oh, it's in
Seattle. We should get Kenneth Walker back. One downside of that Panthers game, we were down our starting 2 running backs, so we were playing number 3 and number 4. Seattle's a big run team, so when we don't have our run game going, it's really hard to get our offense going. And Carolina just took advantage of that. They also controlled the ball a lot. The main reason the Carolina won their game last week, I think they won the week before that as well too. But the main reason that they won is because they're holding the ball for 35, 36 minutes, and we just couldn't make up with the opportunity. We did do good with the opportunities we did have, but Gino threw some picks, different things like that. Like I said, it's a must-win for Seattle in Seattle. if we win this game, it definitely does help out making the 49ers 9-5, and we would be 8-6, but we'd still be a game down in the division, which wouldn't help. So, yeah, it's definitely a must-win. I wouldn't want to see 7-7. We probably have a pretty good chance to not win out because we have to play the Chiefs on Christmas Eve. But yeah, it's definitely a must-win. So hopefully Seattle can win on. That's my tangent about my team.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of playoff spot, they're still only. I mean, they're a half game behind Washington and the Giants right now.
They're a game behind. I
I
thought
said
we
half.
were in. I thought we were. Oh, I thought we were in over Washington right now.
No, Washington and the Giants are both in because of that tie, so they're both 7-5-1, which is why they're both in, and the Seahawks are now out. So I mean, grand scheme.
Oh, they play again this week too. Oh, dang.
Right. So if the Seahawks were to lose, you figure one of the Washington or Giants are going to lose. I doubt they tie again. That'd be crazy if they did.
I need Giants to lose.
Yeah, one of them would get their 6th loss, so you'd still be half game out. But
we have tiebreaker on Giants.
Right. But that tie is going to help the Giants if you both end with the same amount of losses. And then don't look now. The Lions are 6-7.
We still have tiebreaker over the Lions too. We're okay.
I think, yeah. Yeah. So go back to the games. So you go at Seahawks. Dylan went Seahawks. I kind of like the Niners. Only because
Josh Johnson game.
Well, defensively, the Niners are still
yeah.
really tough, and I think they're going to make it tough on the Seahawks running the ball. And we're probably going to have to see one of the Geno games from earlier in the season. He's going to have to pull one of those performances out to beat this Niners team, even with Brock Purdy being hurt, possibility that Josh Johnson ends up playing. But I just think that Niners defense right now they're just special. So I'm going to go with the Niners.
And I picked your Patriots for you, man. Come on.
Yeah, but I've also been
I'm joking with you.
Well, I'm just saying that I've been on here for weeks talking about the Niners on my team in the second half, so I kind of got to stick with that.
I'm going to tell Greg to keep talking bad about your Celtics.
Hey, I welcome it. He was great tonight. We'll do the primetime game on Saturday. We'll count that as a primetime game. That's Dolphins-Bills. 8-5 Dolphins, 10-3 Bills. Who you guys got?
I got the Bills.
Okay.
Just because since it's in Buffalo, they're used to that cold weather. Miami, not saying any hate on Tua or Hill, but they're a down south team, like to play in the sun. They're not used to that inclement weather, other than maybe rain possibly, but maybe rain is maybe 5 minutes of rain in Florida, maybe at tops, maybe 10 minutes of rain. But yeah, they're not used to that, that cold weather football. So
I mean, Tua's a Hawaiian kid, played at Alabama.
I don't know where Tyreek Hill. He's probably down south kind of guy.
He played at Oklahoma State though, so
who Tyreek?
Yeah, he played a little bit at Oklahoma State, so
he can get some weather.
Yeah, it gets some chilly down there. We get into the negatives in Kansas, we get there sometimes.
But yeah, definitely see the Bills have an edge. Well, I think they're what's the money line on that game?
Oh, money line
7.5. 7.5 points
for the Bills.
Yeah,
I'm going with the Bills in this one.
What you got?
I'm going to take the Dolphins in this one. I feel like, I don't know, there's specific games I look at when it comes to the schedule, and I don't know. I just like the Dolphins in this one. It's kind of a must-win for them, especially like we said earlier when we were talking about the Patriots. Looking at the Dolphins' schedule ahead, it's kind of a rougher one. I feel like they're going to play a little bit harder than what the Bills probably would in this game, especially with it being more of a must-win and it being a divisional game. That's always going to change it. My big issue with the Bills is we give the Bills a lot of credit, and we feel like they're this kind of juggernaut of a team, and then they lose a game. I wouldn't even necessarily say a team that they should. It's just they kind of get outplayed by another good team, and they kind of make you question if they're a playoff team. I feel like that's going to be one of those games. Not saying by all means that the Bills are going to play bad. I think the Dolphins are just going to outplay them in this one. 7.5 points is good. I could see either team winning by like a late touchdown or like a late field goal. So yeah, I'm gonna take the Dolphins in it, and I imagine it's an upset. So yeah, go Dolphins.
Okay. For me, I think the Dolphins probably need this game for their psyche, because I think a lot of people are starting to question how good they are with the recent play late in the season, and them playing in bad weather will be probably a good kind of barometer for if they do make the playoffs.
They're going to probably have to play in bad weather no matter where they go for the playoffs. So
so that's going to be a good barometer for them. And then 2 weeks down the line in New England, it's not going to be great. And then we know the Jets game at the end of the season probably won't be. So the Dolphins are going to have to kind of get used to this for the rest of the season. But I actually like the Bills in this one. I think with it being in Orchard Park, I would lean to the Bills, but I do think the Dolphins will have a good showing. I just feel like the Bills find a way to pull this one out. Let's see. Sunday night, Giants Commanders. That's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
Both teams 7-5-1.
It's always the late NFC East games. I feel like there's always a lot of late time NFC East games.
Yeah, because they usually have a lot on the line in this one. Wake up Monday morning, the loser of this game could find themselves outside of the playoff picture looking in.
Oh, yeah.
So definitely important. Washington is the 4.5-point favorite going into this one. So I guess we'll start with you, Dylan, on this one. Who you got?
I'm going to take Washington in this one, but we look at this game a little differently than how we looked at the first time these two teams played off, because we looked at Washington as like kind of this, like, I wouldn't necessarily say a juggernaut, but like they're playing good. Like they're getting everybody's hopes up. We kind of looked at the Giants as a team that was going to lose out due to their injuries. And now when we go back to this game now after the first one, they tied, which is a little bit interesting. Not anything anyone really ever expects, because personally, I think ties are stupid, so I don't ever expect it. Let somebody win. Come on, just let somebody win. But here nor there. I'm still taking Washington because I feel like, again, they just have more when it comes to offensively. I think Taylor Heinicke, I wouldn't say he's a better quarterback than Daniel Jones, but he definitely can do more as a quarterback than Daniel Jones with what he has right now currently. He definitely has the weapons to do it. He has the running to do it. And I also think this Commanders defense is way better than what the Giants are working with right now. So it smells like a good win for the Commanders, especially being at home. If it was away for the Giants, if it was another away game for the Giants, or if this one was an away game and they tied at the Commanders' home, I could maybe see an idea where the Giants could win this. But again, with the Commanders being at home, I feel like they kind of underestimated the Giants. They got a little ahead of themselves, thinking that they were a lot better than maybe what they were, and the Giants kind of shocked them back to reality. I feel like they'll get back on the right game plan and probably win by like 10, 11 points in this game.
All right. Jordan, who you got?
Yeah, I feel like I got the Commanders, just because just like Dylan hit it on the spot. Like they have Heinicke. I get in the fight edge over Daniel Jones because he can run kind of outside the pocket when he gets crushed or when he gets jammed in the pocket, he can run out and scramble. Obviously comparing the receiving corps, they have Brian Robinson and Terry McLaurin. So, with those two young players, and their defense is can hold up too. So, the fact that the Giants, Barkley might have a good game on the ground, but that's not gonna be enough firepower just for. Plus with the whole injuries and stuff on the Giants side. Definitely on the line. I think the line is 4.5. So I definitely kind of get the edge over to the Commanders, but like I said, it's gonna be a good game. It's a conference game, so
yeah. I'm with you guys. I'm going Commanders on this one. You kind of hit all the points. So we'll go to Monday night.
Who do y'all have on the other Saturday games? The Ravens, Browns.
Ravens. Deshaun Watson's been butt.
Okay. I thought you were going to hit Browns because Lamar's not there. So.
Oh, wait a minute. That's true.
Nah, if Jacoby Brissett was playing for the Browns, I'm taking the Browns. But Deshaun Watson hasn't given me any hope. So Ravens will get it done.
I think after 2 years, his second week, he's not going to look much better than last week. So
They didn't score any
So,
offensive points.
yeah, so I like the Ravens and Vikings for the other two games
Okay.
on Saturday. Monday night, Rams Packers, which I mean, before the season, I'm sure this looked really good.
Oh
but
man,
at
this is
point,
terrible, man.
Yeah, I bet the NFL was salivating at this idea. Rams Packers Week 15 playoff implications. You know, these two teams are probably going to be like the first and third seed in the NFC, and now both these teams have 17 combined losses.
I want to have to give it to the Rams though, because Baker Mayfield, he proved that he can win it in the last
Baker
drive of the
yes.
game. But
Man, I was gonna go with the Rams.
The whole
but if
headbutting people with the helmets on, I don't get that. And
I don't
feel
get that either.
maybe he's knocking some play back into him. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, that's what it takes for him to play well. Keep doing it.
I'm scared. I'm scared about this game because I've always
scared too.
I always think like the Packers can turn it around, so I like picking against them because they're always like Aaron Rodgers is just one of those guys that like he can get it going one week and then the Packers just have a great just a great week. And then on the flip note, man, I just want to pick Baker Mayfield because Baker Mayfield, big OU guy. I've said it multiple times. So like I like the story, but my big issue with Baker Mayfield is when people start believing in him, that's when he plays like shit. You know, everyone kind of wrote him off. They didn't really give him much of a chance in this Rams debut, and he won. So now that people are like, everyone, now that people are like, oh, now Baker knows what he's doing. He's back. Like,
I mean, just the fact that like we said, like Baker came off in like 48 hours into the starting position. Nobody expected him to, play as good the first game. It's the fact that I would say if Aaron was on his P's and Q's, I say Aaron and the Packers would win this game, but I just don't think that. I mean, is Donald playing? Is he back on the field? Too? That's another factor too.
Probably not, and they probably won't play him for the rest of the season. I imagine he's going to just be shut down. He's shut down without them saying it yet.
Yeah. Just because of that, just a QB comparison, I think that Baker Mayfield has the edge in this game.
I'm just gonna say Baker. I'm gonna say Baker just because I just want to go with the story. I think the Packers could win it, and it's probably going to be a Packers win, especially like
Packers are a touchdown favorite.
So, yeah. What gives you the hope that Baker Mayfield is going to have two good games? But I did say it last week. I said that if the Rams were going to beat the Raiders, it's if Baker Mayfield plays and finishes the whole game, and he did, and they won. So
I need Brett's input since he's a Packers fan on his team.
Brett's probably moved on to the Bucks at this point. I like the Baker Mayfield story for sure.
Yeah.
It is a tough one. Because, if the Packers go with run focus, Aaron Jones and Dillon, I think they could probably win this one.
I think the Packers could still make the playoffs if they won out.
See, 5-8. Yeah, because I think if they win out, they get to 9-8. Depending on tiebreakers, I think 9 wins gets you into the NFC playoffs. So...
Especially if Washington, Seattle, or New York have some slip-ups.
Right. Yeah.
Not Seattle. Seattle's fine.
I think as of right now, I don't see the Packers making it. I feel like I think the Seahawks get in. I think the Giants fall out. That's the way I see it. Although Detroit's going to make it interesting for sure.
So the 4 teams you would have, the 3 teams, the wild card teams you'd have it is Seattle, Washington, and who's the other one? Seattle,
Detroit, right?
Oh, Cowboys.
Oh, yeah, Cowboys. Yeah. That'd be my 3 wild card teams.
Wait, wouldn't it be like
Eagles?
Number?
Yeah, the Eagles win the division. So the Cowboys
Eagles win division. Cowboys get wild card.
Huh. So only one team gets in the playoffs?
No.
Well, a solidified spot.
Yeah. Each division winner has a solidified spot, and then the remaining 3 spots are the best at large, practically.
Yeah, top 4 spots, division winners.
That's why. So if the Bucks literally win the division with 7 wins, they would still make the playoffs as the 4th seed over let's say the Seahawks who'd have 10 wins.
So say the Ravens win the division in the playoffs, would they have to play in a wild card or?
Yeah, you'd still have to play in the wild card. If you're not the number 1 overall seed, you're playing in the wild card.
Yep.
only the first overall seed gets a bye week.
Yeah.
Yeah, that should be like top 2 teams.
That's what it used to be. It used to be the top 2 teams, and then
When
the
they put-
NFL was like, nope, one team, and then they added the extra wild card.
Put more of an emphasis on winning the conference and getting the bye.
I think it was smart.
Right. All right, so I think I made my pick. I think I'm going with the Rams only because,
Yeah.
I'm not on the Packers bandwagon. So, locks and upsets. Like I said, we're getting kind of late here, so we'll just give them. You don't have to really give too much explanation.
Yeah, I would say my lock is probably going to be Bills against Miami, and then my upset is going to be Ravens over Browns because they have 2.5-point favorite except for the Browns. So,
Yep. All right.
I don't know why they're 2.5-point favorites. Either because they're home. I'm assuming the Browns.
There's
are.
no Lamar Jackson. Huntley's questionable, and I think Vegas is hoping Deshaun Watson has a better showing this week than last week. That's what it is.
Yeah, so I have the Ravens as my upset. I did pick the Seahawks first because the Seahawks were the underdog in that game against the Browns, but I'm gonna stick with my team, the Ravens, for my upset.
All right, Dylan, who you got?
I don't have actual lines. I know who I'm probably doing for my lock. But my upset are the Jaguars favorited, or like, what's the line on the Jaguars Cowboys game? I don't have an actual.
It's 4.5 for the Cowboys, so that would be an upset.
Okay, I'm picking the Jaguars Cowboys upset.
Oh man,
It's at home. It's at home. You know, the Jaguars, you played really well against the Titans. I said it on Sunday. You know, I thought I gave the Titans a little more credit than I thought they were. I thought when they played against who they played and lost against last week.
For the Jaguars?
No, the week before that. Can't think of who the Titans played the week before that. I can get it real fast. But I can't think off the top of my head. Titans. The Eagles. There we go. They played the Eagles, and when I said that when they played against the Eagles, I was like, I think they just ended up running against a better team the whole time. I think this Titans team was better. They just happened to play up against a good Eagles team. They should play well against the Jaguars. They didn't play the greatest against the Jaguars. And the Jaguars kind of took a very good handle of them. So, yeah, I feel like it's at home. Jacksonville kind of has momentum, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Trevor Lawrence is kind of letting his star shine bright. You know, why not beat the stars and let it grow even more?
Yeah. Actually, on Jordan's show, I made that same pick. I think the Jaguars upset the Cowboys too.
And my lock of the week. I'm gonna go with. I'm going with probably the Chiefs over the Texans. It's easy enough. Nothing the Texans are doing is impressive. I don't think Dameon Pierce is probably even going to play this game either for the Texans. I hear he might have some sort of injury. So, there goes another offensive piece for you guys. For the Texans. This should just
Pierce is doubtful.
Yeah, this should just be an easy game for the Chiefs. Just play your backup if you want. let Mahomes coach the offense. Like.
Okay.
They're going to be just fine. So it's easy one for me this week for the lock at least. And I'm putting all my eggs in my basket on the upset.
All right. So for me, I'm gonna go my lock: Eagles over the Bears. I mean that
was my other one.
I mean that feels like the obvious choice. Upset. I would have gone Steelers over the Panthers, but I don't know. Is Pickett going to play? If Pickett plays, I'd go with that one. But
if Money Mitch plays, it's still possible.
I don't know.
The way he played against our Ravens, man, I don't know, man.
Some of his decision making in that game was wild.
Come on. Yeah. Or I mean, was it wild or was it our defense?
No, it was
in the
wild.
red zone.
It was wild. Throwing a jump ball into the end zone with like 4 defenders there makes no sense. No.
He was the Nickelodeon most valuable player for no reason. He was the MVP for no reason.
keep playing like that, he'll be working on Nickelodeon after this season.
Yo, Kyle coming with the shots, man. Oh my god, man.
Trubisky's just, I don't know. He's a frustrating guy. Like, you can see talent in him. It's just he just throws interceptions at the wrong time. All right, so upset. I'm gonna go with. All right, since Dylan took my Jaguars pick, I'm gonna go.
You can go with it as well, man. Don't force yourself into an upset pick you're not happy with.
No, I can get one because, like I said, I usually go on the limb. I'm gonna go. I mean, this one's not really going on a limb as much, but I'm gonna go the Falcons over the Saints. I think Ritter comes in.
I like
has
it.
Like for a first game, he kind of brings a new energy. Saints are the Saints, they're not good either.
Heard it here first. Kyle said Ritter's having 606 touchdowns against the Saints.
I don't see that, but I feel like Ritter can give you maybe 200 yards passing.
I'm very interested for
one
to see how he'll play. One, to see how he'll play because we haven't seen him play since the preseason, and then two, what they're how he's going to play with the Falcons, just offense. Period. Because when I look at the Falcons, I think of them as kind of like, I'm going to say this, a great value 49ers team. They kind of have the speed. They got the weapons in Cordero Patterson. You run a lot of running with the quarterback, different things like that. Ritter's that type of quarterback, but he's also a pretty fairly well passer. So it's going to be interesting on how they're going to run him, especially since who do you have to catch the ball outside of Drake London in Atlanta? You don't have Kyle Pitts. He's done for the season.
Right. Yeah, so that game could be kind of an ugly one, but I'll take the Falcons in the upset. All right, so, we're coming up on 2.5 hours. I think we'll go into final thoughts. We'll save the bowl games for next week.
Yeah.
I know.
We're not. It doesn't matter. It's just the bum bowls to start off the first couple weeks. So
right.
There might be a
so
couple
it's
good
fine.
ones.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about.
Oh,
those.
we should
Plus,
mention Mike Leach though.
That's what I'll say for final thoughts. Go ahead, Dylan. You can talk about Mike.
Yeah,
Leach.
Mike Leach. Passed away. Definitely very sad. Like I said earlier in the chat, father of the air raid. He's what got me into college football. Watched a lot of Big 12.
When you say air raid, what is that, the Hail Marys or
So basically, just a very, very, very pass happy offense.
Vertical passing, vertical.
Pretty much, yeah. They're passing
Spread
the
them
ball
out
60, 65 times a game, and then they're rushing the ball 10 or 12.
Oh, gotcha.
So, but he definitely did
a lot in interviews. Yeah, he was very entertaining.
Oh, yeah. You could ask him any question and he would answer it. Any question you'd ask him, that dude was going to answer it. So it's definitely sad. He was still a current head coach, which is what makes it even more wild. He was the head coach of Mississippi State. So definitely seeing him go away was shocking. It kind of all happened at once. You heard that he had a heart attack and he was kind of in critical condition, and then it slowly got worse, and then he passed away this morning, which is very sad. So Mississippi State still said they're going to play their bowl game because that's what he wanted. So yeah, definitely.
They're gonna honor Mike Leach during the game as well. So.
Yep. So definitely picking Mississippi State to win that game now for sure. I'm pretty sure I already did, but I'm definitely going to double check and make sure that's my pick. So yeah, that's sad. And then other than that, UFC happened. 282, an interesting main event. Light heavyweight championship ended up in a draw. So the light heavyweight championship is still vacant. But after that, Dana White announced Glover Teixeira versus Jamal Hill for UFC 283 in Brazil. Well, that will be the new lightweight heavyweight championship fight. So that's something I guess is pretty new. But then other than that, about UFC, Paddy Pimblett kind of... his hype train kind of got derailed a little bit. He won his fight, but in a way that wasn't very happy to others. Definitely probably should have lost by decision, but definitely it was a third round that was probably a mistake by his opponent. Definitely probably won the first round, or definitely maybe won a round each and then kind of coasted in the third round and didn't really do anything. So that gave Pimblett that. So definitely not a way to end off the UFC season. Dana White was pretty upset. He said he was really happy about everything until this main event. This is the only thing that upset him about the year. So Yeah, he literally started off by his press conference by saying the main event was shit. So that's how that went. It was okay. I probably thought I had a winner in my mind. I don't think it should have been a draw, but to each their own. Don't let the fights go to the scorecards. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. Jordan, you got anything?
Yeah, I mean, just to pick up of Dylan, like I did report the article in the group chat of him being in like the hospital and things not going well. And then I think later that day, like Dylan said, it got worse. He was put in like hospice. So basically, people don't know that basically when you're in the ER and like if they can't fix anything, hospice like where like the last kind of like the resting place where like depending on how severity of whatever you have you're dealing with.
Usually here at hospice isn't.
Yeah, it's like usually like your final resting place.
Yeah.
So like you said, Kyle, like watching his interviews, like very funny, sometimes interesting interview press conferences. I mean, I knew it was happening because I know I followed the Alabama football page and like Saban and him are very very close off the field, even though they're tough opponents on the field. But Saban was very respected of him, and I saw a post where it was like we're very saddened of the death of Mike Leach and like their respects and stuff. Very sad.
Coach of the year.
Yeah, is this a message that you gotta like hug your loved ones? You know how long we're gonna be here on this earth. And yeah, I mean, just I'm happy that they're kind of gonna honor him at the beginning of the game. I think they should do that. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't really hang if I was a player or a student. I wouldn't really hang y'all's heads because he was a very very good coach, very respected coach. I remember they did. I think it was Saban. They did. I think it was the coach of the Georgia,
Kirby Smart.
Kirby Smart. They did like the college game. They had like the road trip, but they go around different. They interviewed Mike Leach and everything, and he was very respected, and it's sad to see him gone. But yeah, I mean, we kind of have the rest of the NFL season to look forward to. College basketball's in the full swing.
Purdue's the new #1 overall team.
Yep.
Yeah. It's crazy at this time that I was at the Rutgers game and when they dethroned the #1 team, but they're the #1 team this year right now.
I think they said it was like Alabama's ranked higher in basketball for the first time over football in for a very long time.
Yeah. But yeah, the fact that we're kind of like in the thick of sports, college football playoffs around the corner.
Horned Frogs.
I feel relieved that Judge is on the Yankees now, so like kind of like a big stress off my back, kind of worrying about who's going to be going to.
You get the coast part of free agency now. It's like your big guys locked up. Now it's just what moves are we going to make after that? You got the big fish though, so that's all that matters.
Yeah. But I'm just like just glad to be a part of this show. It's been a good episode 15, and there's gonna be plenty more where that comes from. So
yeah, I mean, you guys said it all. If you were a college football fan of any sort, passing on Mike Leach is definitely a big deal because, like we said, great interview. He was one of the characters of college football, and he seemed like he would have been like a really great coach to play for. Like he'd have, a lot of fun, be innovative on the field, and thoughts out to his family and all that. But he will definitely be missed around the college football landscape.
When I started playing football, I played receiver, so like definitely air raid offenses were like the type of offenses I definitely like to watch. So watching his offenses at Texas Tech and even like Washington State. I mean, without Mike Leach, there's no Minshew mania either. So like that just goes on to like what kind of personality he was. Like
wait, Dak played at Mississippi State, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but Leach
Mike was his
coach.
No.
He was Washington State. I'm pretty sure still then. But with that being said, I still remember even just like the post game interview where he had with Gardner Minshew, where he just slapped the mustache on his face.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
That's just the type of guy he was. He was always a part of it. So definitely it's going to be missed. It's sad to see. He was definitely one of my favorite coaches out there, so it sucks.
Right. Yeah, I don't think we ever. Who was your college football team? Like, do you have a team that you follow?
He said not really.
Yeah,
like
for
Boston
me
College.
being from me being from the Northeast,
See,
like,
I
I
was-
watch a lot of
See,
Boston College.
I was gonna make a joke. I was like, "Oh, is it Boston College?" Because you're from like you're a Boston Red Sox fan. So I was gonna make a joke
Mhm.
about that, like you being a Boston College
Yeah,
fan.
so-
but
Outside of Matt Ryan's time in BC's kind of been middle of the road, if that. So I'm a big fan of Big Ten, Michigan, Ohio State, Michigan State. I like watching SEC, Alabama, Georgia, LSU. Big 12, I was, like those Texas Tech days with, Crabtree and stuff. I was a big fan watching Texas Tech, Oklahoma. I kind of have teams I like to watch from all conference, Pac-12, USC.
That's how I feel
Oregon.
about college. Like, I'm a big OU guy, like through and through. If someone was like gun to my head, what's your favorite college football team? You can only pick one. I'd always say Oklahoma. But there's so many other teams that I like. Like, you see me on here wearing North Carolina stuff, Ole Miss stuff. There's just so many other schools. Like, there's like 100 and some odd FBS schools, and you're telling me to like only one? That's just not possible. Right. It's not, even with the NFL, there's 32 teams, and like there's still other NFL teams I kind of like on the down low. Like, when they do good, I'm like, good for them.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm saying with college basketball. So I mean, when we get more into college basketball,
I'm definitely more like that on college basketball. College basketball literally has something called Madness, March Madness. So like, I'm all for it. I would probably say I'm an OU and slight North Carolina fan, but like, I don't care. Just as long as it's somebody new, give me the upsets. Let me see a 16th seed win it all. Stony Brook for the win.
Yeah. I mean, It's been a long episode, but I think it was a really good one. We had Gregory in the chat killing it, Freddie. We had Dante show up. Gene went on his little run middle of the show there. So, yeah, definitely had a lot of fun. Hopefully Gregory's back next week. Maybe he can throw another shot at one of my teams again.
Could be.
Yeah. I think... Well, Jordan, have you done the Bowl Mania thing yet that Dylan?
Oh no, I'll
resend it. I'll log into it, and I've done a little more research, so I need to change some picks myself. So I'll resend it in the group chat.
Oh yeah. I gotta get on that.
But yeah, so
Argentina advances to the final.
Yeah, Argentina, yes, and then we have.
Did y'all see that? Did y'all see that assist by Messi? Oh my gosh, man!
He just had a game today.
Messi is just that's why I told you on your show, like, compare Messi to Ronaldo. Messi can get by off of his skill and vision, where Ronaldo is speed and power. And as he gets older, his speed is slowly going away from him. So that's why it's a little bit different. Looking at the
way he was when he was in the box, and the way
Messi just had a day today,
keeping people out.
I mean, it would be a great story for the World Cup if Messi wins it all, possibly his final World Cup, and it'd be his first win, because he's been always put up there with Maradona. So the thing that's been holding Messi back was that World Cup win. So I think we're headed towards Argentina versus France, which
that's going to be
Messi and Mbappe. Woo! That's going to be crazy. So
they're in the same team in PSG.
How other star-studded could it probably get without having Ronaldo or Neymar in there? Mbappe, Messi.
Yeah, that's
probably as star-studded as it gets.
Sure. Yep. Yeah, guarantee. But yeah, so thanks guys for tuning in. Like I said, it was a long episode, but it was a really good one. And of course, we'll be back again Tuesday nights, 7:00. Make sure you're here. Appreciate Sports Empire Network. Definitely got to subscribe to the channel as well, because a lot of great shows coming up. I think.
Oh no, we have our own show, right? Coming up next Monday.
Yeah, I mean,
the Cheap
Seats. Seems right? Like we're gonna do Cheap Seats podcast. Will be a new show with myself, Jordan, Freddie, and Gene.
That's gonna be hilarious, man.
Good luck for anybody tuning into that one. That's going to be crazy.
I definitely need to tune into that one then. I definitely need to be a guest on that one then.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that one's going to be wild. And I mean, I still have pregame pigskin on Thursday. But I think coming up,
better be picking the Seahawks. I better hear you have a different Seahawks opinion on Thursday. I'm going to be watching.
Tune in. I usually stay consistent with my picks unless there's like an injury or something that happens between. But yeah, I usually keep them. But yeah, so
me and Greg are gonna bully your teams on Thursday.
I hope Greg turns in on Thursday. Let him know
Oh,
about
man.
Thursday's show. I
Yep.
appreciate it.
Better let him know.
Yeah. But that's another show in the books, and I'll talk to you guys later. And
Yeah.
everybody in the chat, have a good night and enjoy upcoming holidays and all that, and love on your family. So
Yeah.
we'll see you again
Yes, sir.
next Tuesday. All right, guys.
Yep.